What's going on, everybody? Cali Death Podcast back once again, episode 169. I am your host, Anthony Trapani, with the very stuffed up sinuses. It's all good, though. I'm feeling great still. I'm excited to be here on a Thursday night, hanging out with the resident homies. We're missing the professor, but we got Casey Howard and Joel Horner with me tonight. What up, dudes?
What up?
Hi, Anthony.
And we are joined tonight by Devin Swank from Sanguisugabogg. What up, dude?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Good. How are you, brother?
Chilling.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm excited about this one. We got some plugs we could throw up real quick. Let's get those out of the way. We've been speaking about Hamilton in the background and Deeds of Flesh. Why not plug their coffee company, dude? BattleforgeCoffee.com. Wait, there it is. BattleforgeCoffee.com is where you go and you get caffeinated death metal style. Rocket, California death metal. Here we go. All right. And then GeneratorRehearsalStudios.com down in Oceanside, California. You're going to go over there and get creative or practice for an upcoming show if you're down in the SoCal area. Help out the homies over there.
Because practice is important.
Practice is very important.
Yes.
And it's fun, too, when you're good at it. And the professor isn't here to plug any of his shows. I don't remember any of the shows he's been plugging, but go back to our previous episode with Defeated Sanity. Plugs them in the beginning there. And then, Devin, where do you guys want? Where do you want everybody to go for some Sanguisugabogg merch, information, all that kind of shit?
Oh yeah, Pornhub.com. Just
Yes.
search BBC.
I'm sure you can find it, dude.
Yeah, you'll find us there.
Funny.
That's the best.
I think we have a merch store on holymountain.com, and then for like all US orders, and then our official website, which is just Sanguisugabogg.com. It's as easy to spell as it is easy to say.
Nice.
What's funny is that
How do you spell it?
I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. Sanguisugabogg.
Yep.
Nice.
You got it.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
dude.
staring at the title. That's all right.
For the audio.
Oh yeah, how'd I do?
You nailed it.
It is funny that the themes of your guys' music, and then the episodes 169. I thought that was I got a little giggle, and then you made a comment about it. I was like, oh yeah, dude, we're on the same page.
Well,
And then
I get
did
it.
you guys notice that the link to get in here too had a 69 in there as well?
Oh, it does,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, the URL or something?
Yep.
It follows
Oh, yeah.
you around,
Oh,
dude.
look at that.
Things are looking good for me tonight.
Yeah.
Dinner for two.
I just posted in the chat, and like every listener can just get live with us on here right now. Max out at 10 real fast, and they'd be like, anyways, yeah, cool. 6'9".
Cool, dude. This is awesome that you're here, dude. I was talking to our mutual friend, my best bud Dan Kenny, about you guys, and because getting ready for these episodes, I always try and do a service to the artist and kind of dive in on their stuff, at least that week of that episode. And the feelings I was getting, dude, was totally nostalgic, taking me right back to the early 2000s when I was sitting in Dan's garage and I'm packing bowls and we're trying to duplicate death metal as well, and the stuff that we would listen to hanging out. And it just, it brought me in a time machine right back, like the way it sounds, the way the feeling, it's just totally nostalgic for me, dude. And I like that. That's a thing now, because if you get it right, you can actually make an older cat like me get the nostalgia, and it just, I think it's cool that this like OS DM things happening, and there's versions of that now too, whether you want to go into the tech realm, you want to go into the more brutal slammy realm, but some bands can manifest that old style again, and I think that it is valuable for sure, dude, and it's unique too, and like the way things are now with the pure production and the clean, precise production, and then there's these human sounding records that still like sit way further out because of all that other stuff that's happening around it.
For sure.
Definitely. I mean, for me, I remember I was just talking about this pre-podcast, but as far as like I was, what I wanted to tell you was I went to PsychoFest, and you guys were the openers of that Saturday. I think it was like a Friday. It was like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of deal. And Saturday was like, or maybe Friday, might have been Friday. But
dude, I'm sorry, man. Is there any way we can adjust that echo, dude? I think I can't
it's not
even follow it.
Oh, I forgot about it, dude.
Yeah, I forgot
Really?
it's not as bad.
Really?
Yeah,
Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, I mean, as far as like I remember like walking in and hearing the hype. There was like hype behind you guys. Well, I was there with Chris Beatty, who did the intro song and Zenith Passage and Dreamer and stuff. And we were just like, he was all, dude, you got to get here for these guys. Like, you got to get here early. They go on like at 11 or something, or 10 or 11. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'll check it out. And yeah, I went in and it fucking kicked me in the fucking tits, dude. I was like, I was fucking loving it. And I remember me and Chris Beatty walked out of there, and Chris is like an ultra shredder virtuoso guitar player, but he was like, dude, this band is fucking sick. You gotta check this band out. And I was like, all right, well, I'll listen to you. You know, I'll take your word. I'll wake up early and check it out. And I remember we both walked out of there. We were like, oh shit, look at this fucking view. We were like, bro, dude, that was fucking like the most ignorant, sick shit I've ever seen. I remember saying, like, because it was just, we turned into cavemen. We were like, we got like this like very like caveman, like we wanted to like hurt things and be
ignorant, like, maybe more barbaric. That's what you're looking for. Is like,
yeah, we both said the same thing at the same time though. We were like, dude, that we were like both had like wide-eyed. We were like, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna hit these fucking guys up and for the podcast and stuff. And definitely was like blown away and just this, like, even because we're like gear nerds too, so we were looking like, are they playing through a bass cab or what's going, like we saw like bass cabs on there. We're like, are they, that's an interesting move for like a heavy band, like to be like that kind of move. And I was like, why hasn't anyone really done this? I didn't really even think that was a thing. And so yeah, your whole like the style just blew me the fuck away. And it was like, and it wasn't like, you know, we're all the prog, we're like nerdy tech prog nerds, but like we started, you know, with like, you know, Cannibal and all those bands and stuff, and it just brought us back, and we were just like, fuck, okay. It's reminds me a little bit of like when I've toured with Warbringer, and I remember like back in the day, and like I was like, I felt the thrash vibe. I was like, you guys did it, like it's back, you know, like it felt like that with you guys, like a different kind of heavier version of old school death metal. So just a long compliment, I guess. There's no question.
yeah.
But yeah. So I'm glad to have you on though. But basically, I remember after that show, I was like standing next to the dude from Metal Blade and shit, and was like the owner guy, and he was just sitting there just like fucking rocking out and getting down too. And I was like everyone was fucking feeling it. And it's a really cool to see the resurgence. Like Anthony was kind of piggybacking on what he was saying, but goddamn, that's very cool. And we'll get into like more of how that formed and where it came from, or whether it came from like me and Anthony new metaling, or you guys punking and crusting, or whatever, you know, whatever it came from. I definitely want to figure it out. But
so I looked at, is Metal Encyclopedium correct? You're 29. Is that how old you are?
I am. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you're about a decade younger than us. And so talk about early childhood though. You know, is there any musical beginnings besides vocals, or if not, what's the earliest like form of creativity that came into your life, and who influenced it and all that kind of stuff at an early age?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, vocals were the thing that I latched onto pretty early on. I've been into heavy music as early as I can remember, man. Like, I mean, I started going to shows at like 12 and 13.
So even before that, though, what was playing around the house? What were your parents listening to? What were older cousins, brothers, sisters?
Yeah.
What were those
So
types of things that were floating around?
for sure, yeah, there wasn't much of an age gap between my parents were teenagers when they were pregnant with me,
Wow.
so they started pretty young.
Yeah.
My dad was listening to all kinds of stuff, man. Like I remember being a kid listening to Danzig, the Beastie Boys, Metallica, Pantera, Slayer,
Mm-hmm.
and my dad also liked a lot of the early wave death metal bands. Bands like Morbid Angel, Possessed,
Damn.
Obituary, Cannibal Corpse, uh, Suffocation. All the Scott Burns wave of death metal bands,
Yeah.
and I gravitated to that pretty young. And then as I got older, I was lucky to grow up with two people that were a little bit older than me that, crazy enough, I'm still friends with. I met them when I was like 10 and 11 years old,
Yeah.
Ricky and Justin, and
Shout
they
out.
got me into, they got me into bands like Dying Fetus and um, all kinds of other stuff, man. And then I lived.
How'd you guys become friends? Was it in school?
No, they lived down the street from me. Cool
No
enough.
shit.
So
Nice.
yeah, I became friends with Ricky in particular. Me and my dad were playing catch like out in front of the house, and he came by on his skateboard and just asked to join in on the game, and we ended up playing ball like together, and then from there like a friendship fruition. And
That's
now
rad.
Nice.
me and him are still really close, man. I still I talk to him probably every day. I still hit him up
Rad.
and see what's up with him.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm from a really small town, so like small towns are like a big community, man. And
How many
growing
people?
up,
What was the name of the town again?
Yeah, what town?
I'm from a place called Reynoldsburg, Ohio.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a suburb east of Columbus.
What's the
Um,
population?
Shit, it's way bigger now than when I was a kid.
What
Because
do you think? Just give it a ballpark, because I know where me and Dan were from, it was 40,000 when we were teenagers.
I wouldn't say that much. Maybe just under half that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean it's way bigger now because like around like Broad Street area, they tore a lot of stuff down. They built a lot of apartment complexes, hotel buildings, a bunch of businesses and stuff are moved in there now.
Yeah.
But I remember as a kid, like I watched it just get bigger and bigger, and then by the time like my senior year of high school, I think our graduating class was like anywhere between 700 to 800 kids. So, but I spent a lot of time there. I played sports there growing up, and I ended up coaching youth football
Oh,
I was gonna say
sick.
football.
there for a little while.
I can tell by the shoulders. I was like, you were a linebacker, maybe a running back or fullback.
I was a linebacker. Yeah,
Nailed it. First one. Fuck yeah.
yeah, I was. I played Mike, and then I also that was a gunner on special teams and stuff too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man.
Sick.
Awesome.
And that's another reason why me and Dan are really cool, because like we both wrestled growing
Did
up
you
too.
coach at the same high school you went to?
No, I coached it was a youth football league. It's not even there anymore, but it was Reynoldsburg Youth Football. And
Okay.
I coached like the oldest division. I was I ran their defense. So
Sick, dude.
yeah.
It's fucking rad. That's cool.
But yeah, man, I got into music pretty early on, and then after high school, check this is pretty cool. You guys would appreciate this. My freshman year at college, I ended up being real close friends with my friend Ross, who used to play in the band Condemned
Oh, sick.
yeah. Nice.
from San Diego.
Yeah, fuck
Yep.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
And he used to tell me stories about like, yeah, we used to practice down the hall from Discogs. And when I started the band, Angel and Forrest were also starting Cephalotripsy. And yeah, so I got to hear like a bunch of the lore, and around that time, I just like I was able to get my hands on the internet, dive in deep with whatever I wanted to find. So I remember being 18, 19 years old, and I would just spider hole, like trying to find like new bands that I would like gravitate to, or bands that haven't been a band in like 20
It's all
years
you
that I
think
fucking
about.
love.
When you catch
yeah.
that bug, dude, that's all you're thinking about is just
You become obsessed with it.
expanding
Yeah.
your encyclopedia of extreme metal, dude.
Just to interject
Exactly.
real
And-
quick.
and-
go
What
ahead.
do you got, Casey?
I was just gonna say the reason Joseph is not here tonight is because To Violently Vomit is practicing, and they're gonna
sick.
actually practice at my studio, my little room, a little tiny room, on Friday night. And so I was talking to Diego about it earlier, and Joseph. So he's like, yeah, Generator Rehearsals is actually there, yeah.
Oh yeah,
And so yeah,
Riff
so,
Wizard.
fucking
Yeah,
yeah. So they're gonna be there Friday. So I'm gonna try to like see them or like see what's going on, or maybe stop by. But
The
gotta
lore
get
continues.
yeah, dude. So yeah, I just want to interject. Got the shirt on, talking about it. Sorry, I just
So with
Yeah.
when knowing dude from Condemned and all that shit, how deep were you down that rabbit hole before or that happened?
Yeah. I mean, beforehand, I got into stuff that like family and friends like exposed me to, and then I remember being in high school listening to like Gore Grind, like Last Days of Humanity, and Gut, and all kinds of cool shit.
What would get you pumped for a football game? Like, what would
get me pumped?
Yeah, what would be your locker room jam if you had headphones in, waiting for the game to start?
That's sick, man. In our weight room and stuff in the locker room, we used to play Chaos AD.
Hell
that's
yeah,
funny. Yeah, I did that
Yeah.
too. Funny.
So hearing like propaganda and stuff, I'm like,
yeah,
dude, I just want to run into somebody
with that ride in the beginning. Just
exactly.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
build up.
Yeah, man. Any band that utilizes the close hi hat, like a little jungle beat and stuff, like that wakes something in you. So,
dude,
love
that.
Suspense.
But yeah, I got pretty deep in, and then Ross, with his repertoire and being older than me, he was around, death metal when it was starting and where it was at that time. So I got to pick his brain about a lot, and I found out about a lot of bands that were in my area that I had no clue about. Like, I found out about Hemdale. I found out about Embalmer, Ton, Odious Sanction, and bands like that. And I really then I started to be like, wow, like where I'm from, like my own backyard has like this rich like pedigree that I had no knowledge of before that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, once I found out, like Cleveland and everywhere surrounding had like their own little scene. Like Dayton has this like really heavy like grindcore and gore grind scene, and Cincinnati has like black metal, black and thrash metal, and Cleveland has like this rich pedigree of old school death metal bands like Decrepit and aforementioned bands like I mentioned earlier, like Ton and Balmer. And then I was just like, what's in Columbus? Oh, sick. Heinous Killings and Regurgitation. So,
yeah.
I was able to just digest like all of this at once. And then it wasn't like that long after that, I started jamming in a band. I was in for 8 years called Limb Splitter. And Limb Splitter, you had me on vocals. You had Dan Baker from Sodomized and Regurgitation, Tales of Necrophilia on drums.
Yeah.
Our bass player Rob was in Nunslaughter. He was an Embalmer, and he was in Chimera briefly. Dylan was an Embalmer, and like so it's just like a who's who of like Cleveland metal bands in one band, and I
You
was
don't
just
really.
so
Sorry to cut you off, but you're making me realize that not a lot of people talk about the Ohio area of the country being kind of this small bubble as
Yeah, that's a good
well.
point. It's sick. You're
yeah.
right.
Because I mean, I noticed it with other styles of music too. Not to venture out of metal, but I'm just saying you're making me realize that it is this concentrated area that also has a lot of unique talent that comes out, and it's also in
For
a
sure.
genre that's a little more niche too when you go into the grind and the gore grind and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just now making me realize that, or not making me realize, reminding me that Ohio is a relevant spot that people should pay attention to if you're looking for concentrated creative areas that kind of spring up these types of
Yeah.
unique acts.
I think I remember reading Netherton's book, Extremity Retained, in college, and he mentioned like Ohio, like briefly, like before Maryland Death Fest, we had Ohio Death Fest, which was ran by Brian Baxter of Bladed Records. He was the singer bass player of Regurgitation. He would put on these festivals every year, and it would kind of have like the same lineup, like Skinless, Cryptopsy, Mortician, Dying Fetus, Flesh Grind, Waco Jesus. It'd be like a bunch of those bands would play like every year.
Yeah.
And but yeah, man. I mean, I think it's it's kind of common, like it being your home state, you rep like what's from there. I'm basically
Totally.
I'm like the New York hardcore kid of Ohio death metal.
This thing's called Cali Death Podcast, dude.
Exactly. So yeah, and when with death metal, man, like you hear a lot about like when they mention American death metal, obviously Florida, they're going to mention because that's what everyone was like introduced to, and then you hear about a lot of bands from the Northeast scene.
Mm-hmm.
You hear a lot about bands from like SoCal, and then you hear a lot about bands from Texas because Texas is so huge and it's got a humongous like metal scene. But yeah, like Ohio is like the taint like of it all,
Right.
It's not cool enough to be the asshole or the ball sack.
Well, the Midwest, I mean, it's weird because like Slipknot in like Ohio is like the Midwest.
Iowa.
Oh,
Yeah.
did I say? What did I say? Oh, sorry. Iowa.
Ohio.
Casey's trying to new metal right now.
No, I meant Iowa. But it's all.
We have Mushroom Head.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
There you go.
Masks before
But
them.
isn't like Midwest like big for like new metal and stuff? Like, but not. I don't know.
Maybe back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Somewhat, maybe some butt rock like here and there, but
okay.
I know the Midwest in general. There are a lot of bands that as far as death metal that do have come out, like especially like Indiana, Illinois. You have like Gorgasm, Levidity, Waco Jesus, Macabre. So
dude, what is up with all those bands have similar themes and it's usually X-rated, so I'm like, what the fuck's going on over there, dude?
But I was trying to say that like my point was that I think like there's a bunch of metal from the Midwest, like not just
absolutely.
I wasn't trying to like say the new metal thing was like there's a bunch of sick death metal, like Anthony's point earlier. Like, and that's cool to like think of it. Like, we don't really think often of death metal from the Midwest, even though we do, but not as much as we do as Texas or East Coast or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to highlight is like sick bands like you guys and the stuff we're talking about. Like,
for sure,
there's sick shit from the Midwest, right?
Yeah. There's also been a lot of bands that have like they never really like broke. I wouldn't say break ground, but never like got the recognition that they deserved. Like Embalmer was one of the Embalmer and Hemdale. They were one of the very first like relapse bands.
Yeah,
and then they didn't really like explode. past that. And like Embalmer's second release was through John Doyer, Pathos Productions, who put out like Dehumanized, Eternal Suffering, and so forth.
Do you think that, I mean, I'm such a big grind fan, you know, and don't you think that there is some kind of a ceiling though with the themes, the imagery, and the somewhat more repetitious style of grind, that it could only go so far before it really breaks, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that
I say that with respect because I love listening to it, dude.
He's
love
the biggest grind fan.
Absolutely.
Anthony's the biggest grind fan that we have in the fucking panel.
Yeah, for sure. But I also could just sit outside of it and look at it as well, you know?
For sure. I think when anyone starts a heavy, you know, a heavy band with those kinds of themes and pays homage to like that underground side of death metal or grindcore, you kind of have it in the back of your head that it remains underground. Like I'm totally guilty of like gatekeeping shit that I think is cool because I only want like me and the dudes that I know that would appreciate it.
I feel
like it. You know, it's like we're trading bands like they're like playing cards or something.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That's a good point, dude. That's so
great.
funny.
It hit me so hard.
That's
It's so true, dude.
Cool point. I like that.
There's a special little collection of art.
Bro, I got this one. I got this one.
Just
rookie card.
Truly love.
Right. Yeah. The Josh Sightman hashtag.
Yeah. We have somebody like
Totally
the biggest
Josh,
card
dude.
collection.
I got the Ricky Myers MVP right here.
Yeah.
But it is because it is, you're bringing something special to your small little, you know, love bubble of homies that all are on the same level, and when you're like, oh dude, this is just ours, this nobody else, you know, this is keep this as long as we can, you know. Eventually it might leak out, but still it's like, remember when we used to sit in the garage? I know, I go back to the garage, dude, sitting in the garage and just coming home from Amoeba. I've said it 1,000 times, and you got that CD in the used section, and it was everything and more that you wanted it to be, and right then it was like only for you and the homies that were sitting there listening to it.
Yeah, man, it's something that you hold, you know, to your heart, something you hang your hat on. Like you go to a record store and you find something you weren't even really looking for. Like, you know, I like taking chances and seeing something with sick art, sick logo, sick song titles, and not even I mean, because it's so easy to just pull your phone out and look it up and see what is this, you know. But I take my chances, and or you find like a hidden gem. Like, you know, I remember being in Chicago just for you know, just to visit people, and I hit up Reckless Records, and I ended up finding they didn't know what they had, but I found a Wild Rags what is it, Perpetual Degradation, the Internal Bleeding demo.
Dude.
And rare as hell, $6, and I'm like,
For a rookie card? That was
a rookie card. Yeah.
I've mentioned it a few times on the show, but one of those for me was the same thing. It was Berkeley Rasputin, and I was flipping through the bargain bin, and I found Lethargy's It's Hard to Write with Small Hands for $5, dude.
That's sick.
And that still, it never comes up on eBay, and when it does, everybody's trying to get $100 for a CD. And I'm just like, not only is this, and that doesn't even matter. That the value of what the secondary market or whatever,
it's just cool to know,
because I wasn't buying that for the value of it. I was buying it I literally found like treasure that day. I was so happy because I loved that band. I had, you know, I have this double disc full discography, but that album I don't think was on that double disc, so it wasn't a full discography. Maybe it is, but either way, just having that original copy or a original Dillinger escape plan. I got that shit too cheap.
That's sick.
And it's just nobody in that store knows the joy that you're feeling in that well, maybe they do because they've had that, they're in that store with you.
Yeah.
So they're looking for a gem too.
The only time I look at Discogs is if I'm looking up like what my own shit's going for and just seeing how people get robbed. Because I'm like, what in the fuck you're paying this much for that?
Oh, I know.
But you know, I mean, other than that, like anytime I buy something, I have the intentions on keeping it. And it's funny now because now that I live with my fiance, you know, we have this apartment. I have so much shit that I'm contemplating having to get like a storage unit just for my music collection. So,
really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Anytime I pack for tour, it's like Costanza's wallet, but like as a suitcase, it's just fucking packed to the gills. And it's like, do I want to rock the Dying Fetus shirt? Do I want to rock the Eternal Suffering shirt? Like, I got so much bullshit.
To say you bring a disc, man. I was like, wait, you pack all the CDs into the folder too, dude? You're 10 years younger than us and you still rock it like that?
That'd be sick, dude.
That would be sick.
I had a 2001 S10 Chevy like truck, and I did have exactly that. So I had like a big like fucking disc book with all the like columns and stuff.
Yeah, dude.
All kinds of stuff. So
that's what's up.
I think I still have my CDs like in my car, like in a disc thing like that, or like it's like under my back seat or something.
Hell yeah!
Just in case you throw on a CD, you know.
So the CD thing, you know, for you being 10 years younger than us, and you still seeing the value in physical media, what is physical media to you?
It's for me, it's like my own like bragging rights because most of the stuff I buy is all secondhand stuff.
Yeah,
you know, and it's not oh, I seen this online. It's like I went to, you know, we have a lot of secondhand CD and record stores like throughout our town, and I remember we one place in particular was called Buybacks, and it was just 2 businesses down from the pizza shop I worked at in high school. And I would I would just go there. I'd fucking roast a bowl like on the way.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, what can I find? You know, and I would find like a bunch of cool like horror DVDs, and then I would find like, holy shit, you know, they have Picture Shore's 38 Counts of Battery. Like I gotta get that, dude. You know. So you know, and I would just like come back with like a stack as if I'm checking out books at the library, and I'd be like taking pictures and sending to my friends, or have my friends come over, but like, dude, you're not gonna believe what I got. Let's come over to my house and let's jam it.
Let's roast some more bowls and listen, dude.
Exactly.
Dude, you're speaking to my soul right now, dude. This is exactly what those memories are something that I'll never, and it's so simple, and it kept us all out of trouble, dude. It was just like, you didn't have time for anything else other than just finding the new shit and bringing it to the homies, dude.
Exactly. And you know, it's something that goes back to what you said, man. Like once the bug bites you, you know, that's when you transform, and it becomes your entire life. Right. And you know, even when I wasn't like, even outside of school and stuff, and I'm looking for music or jamming music, I was the kid that was in class. Like they would hand us like these Lenovo laptops, and I'm just immediately on YouTube. Like I gotta listen to music while I'm studying or doing schoolwork. Mm-hmm. So, and then I'm just like turning the laptop, like, dude, listen to this. Look up this band. Look up this. You know. So
yeah.
I was very responsible for getting like my friend group and a lot of heavy bands. You know, just tape trading was already done and over with when I got to a certain age. So like finding music online and finding physical media and stuff and showing people, like that was our little hobby. I'm
going to get hippy dippy for a second and say that I think that it's a video game, and we're all going out and picking up little packets of energy for our team that we're building up along the way, and these packets of energy enhance the whole thing. It inspires the whole little
So
team to do.
The more
new
shirts you
things.
buy or more music you buy, your health bar just.
I know, I love it, dude. I want to chime in real quick about Ian's comment, but basically, like, getting CDs from the library. Did you guys ever like get CDs and then like you like burn those?
Yeah.
Like, or upload the seat, like, you know, then you're just like, oh, I got a burn copy, like whatever, like that. That was like, back then it was like the hack. You're like, oh, dude, I can burn CDs. It's like, oh my god, dude.
And then
like,
get
my
this,
life has changed.
drop the CD back off, and then pick up another one and do the same thing.
I remember when like when my truck was parked out of the furniture dome one time, and like some crackhead like broke into it and like cut a slit through like the little like seal like on the back window and like came through
little
like
guy.
Yeah, I mean like the anyways, and they stole my entire book of burned CDs. You steal a book,
but still,
I got my whole binder stolen at a Suffolk show.
Yeah.
Anyways. Dude, the binders, dude. That was the thing.
Yeah.
And that's what's funny. I heard so many stories of people like getting like, oh, there's like a bunch of shit stolen out of their car, but then they see the binder and they're like, fuck this. I'm like, this. That's like a bunch of like death metal burn CDs, and they're like, nah.
Yeah, original copies of Gorguts just getting frisbeed off the freeway because the dude who stole it's looking for fucking Garth Brooks or some shit. You know?
Right.
Yeah, that's back in the old the burn CDs day, like buying the big stack of burn. It was like expensive to buy like a big stack. Now it's like fucking $5 for like 200.
Oh, you mean for a whole? Yeah, you have to like buy.
Oh yeah, the blanks.
The blanks.
You have like a little.
Yeah.
Those are a big deal.
Yeah, dude. It was like such a big deal. It was like, I burned the CD for you. It was like, because back, I mean, tapes, like we were making tapes, like, hey, I mean, that was the thing in the late 90s, like converting tapes to, or converting CDs to tape, right? It's like, okay, so I'm gonna like make you a mixtape, like Josh was all about making mixtapes.
Super romantic. A bunch of bros making mixtapes for the bros.
It was like usually CDs, and then you'd put on a CD on your little boombox, and then press record on the tape thing, and it would record the tape, right? You know.
Or Siskin, shout out Siskin. If I ever wanted to burn something from him, he would always put that album on, and there would always be a couple other bands after those, just to be like, check out a few songs of this or that, you know. That's
my friend Justin that I mentioned, like, you know, his stepdad was also into metal, so he had like a huge CD collection, and he would upload the CDs to his computer and then transfer them to a blank, and then he'd be like, look, I've killed them all for you. I have this, I have that. So
rad.
We actually kind of got glided over the fact that you said that your dad was listening to Suffocation, and
we totally did.
I know.
That was like,
it was.
I don't know if we've heard of a story. We've heard stories of people going like,
if you don't mind me asking,
Iron Maiden and Metallica and blah blah.
How old was your dad when you were born?
He was 18 when my mom was pregnant. He was 19 when I was born.
Oh, interesting. Crazy, okay.
So I became a dad at 27, so I was almost 10 years after that. So I'm trying to put myself in your dad's position, and fuck, dude, I was an idiot at that time. Not that your dad was, but I'm just saying, me personally, I was a dumb.
It might be kind of cool being like closer in age to your dad. Like my dad was like 30 something years older than me. Like, you know, it's like just interesting. Like that's cool. I mean, if you guys are
so. Is your dad got siblings or friends that were also listening to Suffo too, and they had a whole, or did he find it on his own?
No, he had friends. One in particular, this is really cool. His friend Danny, who also had a son around the same time, and we became friends. Whoa. And he's a metalhead. His name's Chris. So yeah, you know,
lottery with that shit, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like the town I grew up in, it's like, it's not uncommon that when you grew up with a friend that you guys stayed friends like your whole life.
Right.
You know? Yeah. You know, and like, you know, my dad is like my dog, you know, like I'm very lucky to be able to say like my dad is badass.
And,
you know,
and the fact that you guys are so close in age, dude, you guys are gonna have just the possibilities of what you guys can accomplish throughout both of your lives together.
Yeah.
It actually makes me jealous because my dad was a little bit, not that much. He was about my age, but still, as a dad myself, compared to your dad, I'm 7 years behind, or,
Right.
because I was 27, he was 20 or whatever. And
Yeah.
I'm just jealous that he's got, potentially an extra 7 years that he could spend with his kids, because I love spending time with my kids, So yeah, just long story short, saying
It
jealous
seems
of your
like
dad.
any time to have a kid, if you're like ready for it, is great. If you're like a good parent, they can be like there for the kid, and even if it's older, it's like great. But it just seems like kind of a rad like twist on that whole ideal of like, oh, I need to make money before I have a kid. And all this, and just like, what if you just like make it work and you have a kid, and then like you guys are like closer in age and like great friends? Like it's like a different cultural thing. I mean, not in this case, but I mean like in a lot of cultures that's more common, like to just have kids younger, and like, and then they're like, oh, I have a great grandparent and a grandparent and all this stuff. And for me, it's like all my grandparents were dead by I was like 10, like
yeah.
like one lived for a while, but like I had like no grandparents because
For
all of
sure.
them had kids at like 30, 40,
Damn.
Yeah, that's you mentioned that too. Like my grandma, my dad's mom, was even younger, and she was when she had my dad. So my grandma was younger than some of my friends' parents.
Damn.
So yeah, like my family wasted no time. I'm the only Swank to do a lot of things, like to finish high school, go to college, not have a kid as a teenager.
Yeah.
And I still don't have any kids of my own.
So even though you're not doing the music thing and stuff, does that trip you out that you are, kind of breaking a cycle in a sense, being the first in those things?
Yeah, I mean it's cool. I mean I think I just look at it as like a part of life. It's nothing like I try to like gloat or anything about, but no, yeah. I'm definitely of a family of black sheeps. I'm also like a separate kind of black sheep, which is just crazy. And like when you guys were mentioning about that age difference and what it could bring, it brings like two options like on the table. Like you could either stay where you're at and follow down that path, or you could be forced to grow up. And that's what my dad did. My dad's a high school dropout. He was like a huge stoner and a skateboarder and stuff. So like if I wasn't around, he always tells me like I would have amounted to nothing. But he picked up a trade and stuck with it, and became very successful. I grew up for a little while, like in between unemployment lines, like I didn't know when my next meal would be. But one thing for sure is, especially in Ohio, it's like job trees like around here. It's crazy. Like if you don't have a job here, it's because you don't want one. And my dad did everything he could to make sure there was food on the table and there were clothes on our back.
So it makes it, it's kind of crazy to me because it's like you're with all that. I'm thinking of myself as a dad when I'm listening to you talk right now, and for all the stress and all that stuff of not achieving certain whatever, but still having your son at this age saying, I my dad's my bro, my dad's my like super friend, like I want my kids to feel that way about me when they do right now, but I'm saying once they get older, because now I'm starting to deal with a preteen and things are starting to get a little more advanced,
Anthony has 17 kids, by the way.
For sure. Like it's funny, man. David Tell says like, you grow up thinking your dad's Superman, and then you get older and find out he's just a drunk guy that found a cape.
Yeah.
So, but that in some ways that was kind of the case. I did always think that my dad was cool, and I resonated with him. He was funny. We liked the same stuff. Growing up, he was also like my football coach. So
Okay.
we had a strong bond. Like from
Did
the
he treat you different as a coach?
Oh, he was harder. He was hardest on me more than anybody because he had he had expectations. So so when I was scared to tell him like, hey, like I'm gonna give touring a shot. In his head it was like, that's stupid. You better find a trade. We need plumbers. And I mean, and for a minute, like, it was rough, but I'll never forget. Like, we got the Cannibal Corpse offer. Shit. Now, it was almost 2 years ago.
Nice.
And my dad just goes, "Well, shit, son. Everyone knows who Cannibal Corpse is." And I'm like, "Fuck," So it was his way of saying, like I'm proud of you. And then like. He got a little sentimental when I first, had to fly out to Europe, and I was like, dude, like, I've already said all this cool stuff about you, Dad. Like, all my friends think you're cool. You can't be soft around me. So, it feels good because like growing up, I did a lot for that kind of like validation. I wanted my dad to obviously, be proud because if I found out he liked something that I was doing, that just made me enjoy it even more. It made me proud of myself.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And, and he's a big reason why I like metal. He's a big reason why I like a lot of things that I do. And, it's good to know that, man. Like, I mean, just like I said, last night I played a show. My old man was there. My dad and my grandma was at the show, and my grandma's boyfriend, Greg,
What up? What up, Greg?
Greg put a kid on his ass because he was pitting, and like he like swung his arm and like hit Greg, and Greg just went and like sent him sliding. And I was like, "That's so fucking
sick,
cool."
I don't know how many people can ever say that, dude.
Don't underestimate old man strength.
No, just to be having that experience with your dad and your grandma and your grandma's boyfriend fucking somebody up, dude.
That's so sick.
At your show, it's fucking you're never gonna forget that, dude. You're eventually gonna have kids, you're gonna be on your deathbed, and you'll be like, "No, you don't know, dude. She was there, she was hand banging, and then Greg, he just fucking laid this dude out."
That's so sick.
That's cool. Back to what you were kind of saying too. I mean, like the getting validation and stuff like that from like I still this day like I still think of my dad's 28 years older than me, but dude's my like I can call him just like, dude, I've my whole life I've called him, been like, dude, I did fucking blow last night, was bad idea, I did too much. He'd be like, fucking. He was the chairperson of Narcotics Anonymous for California growing up, so my whole life was going to meetings my whole life. So but then when I turn 60 though, I'm gonna fucking get fucked up again. I'm like, all right, well, it's like you've earned it. 30 years of sobriety, like Jesus Christ.
Being the face of NA, that's crazy.
Totally. He had to give
Frank.
speeches in front of Frank, fucking Robert Downey Jr. He had to give speeches, Eric Clapton in front of like all those people that are part of NA and stuff. But like having that kind of thing of just like and he was a musician too. He got me into football. He got me into all the sports as a kid, and now I'm like fucking spending thousands of dollars to go watch a game or go do something. I'm like, sorry, dude. Like, I mean, not sorry, but I'm like, you fucking got me in this. I'm kind of like pissed at him. I'm like, dude, tickets are like $1,600 for 2 tickets now to a fucking game now. Like, what the fuck is like that's your fucking fault. Like, asshole. I'm gonna go, but still,
it's in my DMA. But
yeah, I'm still gonna fly out and go to the game, the sick game.
Exactly.
But
they tried that whole time to be impressionable, and then boom, you find out they were. So
I know. I've
yeah.
learned a lot in the last couple years. Just I'm getting close to 40, pushing 40 and stuff, and just understanding what like little things in my childhood mean to being an adult. Like how it
Mhm.
translates later on.
It
It's like
does. It's
it's
crazy.
such a like things that there's certain just random memories that stick out in my brain, and those are like almost like not achievements, but they're things I compare things to and how things turned out. Like of certain
Yeah.
situations with my
It's the
parents.
foundation.
Totally. Yeah. I'm
You and
like
your
looking back.
dad, you guys go to live shows?
Yeah.
Like
who's dad?
back in early, well, sorry, Devin.
Jesus.
Oh,
I was just talking about my dad. You just brought up you and your dad, right?
Oh,
All right,
I
go ahead,
thought
Devin.
you sounded like you were tailing off. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say because it was
No, I
making
definitely
me
was.
think that previous episode we were talking about kids in the crowd. What was the earliest you went to a show with your dad? How old were you?
I I was 5,
I was gonna say
and
6. I
Oh
was gonna
shit!
say 6.
yeah, I
Yeah.
saw Hank Williams Jr. at Hickory Mills,
Yeah.
Wow.
which is like a horse racetrack.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my first concert like ever. I got to see
Nice.
Hank
Yeah.
Dude.
Williams.
You remember? Oh, 5. Yeah, you totally got memory of that, dude.
I remember being on my dad's shoulders and watching it.
Nice, dude.
I also saw Slayer a handful of times with my
Sick.
dad.
Jesus.
That's like
That's
it's
awesome.
like my dad's favorite band. So
What was the earliest age you saw Slayer?
I was 8 years old.
Dude, that's
Damn.
Yeah,
rad. That's like
That's awesome.
that's so sick, dude.
Funny tidbit
yeah.
today is I actually picked up a guitar and started listening to Slayer again, just for like
Fuck
went
yeah.
down that Slayer because I gave them they were the band, for me. So it was like but the thing is, you listen to them so much, and there's, obviously rabbit holes we go down with. Like we have 1,000 other bands to listen to now,
Yeah.
and I went and just like just threw on Slayer, and then I picked up my guitar and I remembered so much Slayer on guitar. I was like I played like most of All Rain and Blood all the way through, just like while I was working because I was working from home. I was like doing my nerd shit, and then I was just all like, and then I played like War Ensemble all the way through, and I was like, what the
Fuck
fuck?
yeah.
I was like, how the fuck do I remember all this shit? I was like, but still, it was like, to me, I've been playing such like nerdy shit nowadays. Not nerdy, but just like more, just like riffy, nerdy stuff that I was like, this is fucking an exercise of the wrist. Like I was like getting tired. I was like, Slayer's like making me tired. I remember this was like supposed to be like the baseline of what we got into, like with like Odious and doing a lot of shit that we did. And I was like, fuck, like Odious was like it's impossible like to like play that on guitar now. I could do it on bass, but like guitar, I was just like, fuck that. I can't do like my wrist, the twitch muscles go away kind of after a while. Like you don't have it where they're still there, but then like your forearms like, sick dude, well you can do it for another 3 more seconds, and then you're gonna start doing like triplets, and you're done. You're gonna start degrading. But Slayer I have a lot of respect for.
Well,
I mean, I've always have, but like playing those songs, and the fact that they were playing them in such a later age, and they're gonna play them again. But like man, that's a fucking workout.
Yeah.
and
I mean,
what
I
you're-
gotta hand it to you for doing Odious Mortem on anything, man. Because that shit's
No,
crazy.
I don't even know. Yeah, that was just like that was like me having a Circuit City job and like playing guitar and bass or whatever I was doing, like fucking 3 hours, 2 hours a day. Like that took like, because I didn't want to be like fuck it up or anything. So it would be like, and same with Decrepit. Like I remember like randomly joined Decrepit, and then it was like, oh cool, dude, we're going on tour with Black Dahlia in 2 weeks. I'm like, sick, dude. Well, I don't know. I know a song. So let me start getting, and I have like everyone around me, and I'm just like, oh, we're gonna play "And Time Begins" on this tour, and then we're gonna do all like the hardest like songs that they have. I'm just like, all right, like let's fucking go. But the thing is, like, we weren't using any kind of click tracks back then, so it was just we were excited, and we'd be faster, and then I'd be like wondering why I'm cramping in 30 seconds into the song. Like I'm like, dude, I don't know if I have another 4 minutes in me in this one.
It's crazy. The last tour we did, I was, the moment I had a chance to talk to Derek, I had to like bring up Decrepit,
Oh yeah.
So,
fuck yeah.
Especially the And Time Begins record, because
it's
very
something special to all of us, dude.
Tim Young, and it's very suffocation-y.
Yeah.
It's all of that, but like on crack. It's all like Deeds, Suffo, some deprecated
little mushrooms in there.
Yeah.
But
and
then
they and what's funny is they never sounded like that again.
Yeah.
It's
I
wild.
know. I was there for the whole thing because I mean, remember? So Casey told the story a million times, but Casey was an Odious and stuff, and then recorded with Matt, and then Matt was like, "Dude, try out for Decrepit," and then I went to the tryout with Casey, and he just like nailed all that shit on drums, and they were like, "What the fuck? Like a human can do this?" Because a lot of his Tim Young stuff was all cut up. It wasn't like he did like parts and
That's
stuff.
what I heard because I thought because I heard a lot of shit, you know. And I thought it was programmed. I was like, is it MIDI? You know, but apparently Tim tracked, and they would just like take parts and move it.
Yeah, because Tim, we had Tim on the podcast, and he talked all about it.
He's got his own episode. He talks it all about it. The
He was
floating
just like,
set.
He was just like, what? Yeah, the fucking there was like a flood, and he was like playing on a floating drum set.
It's like the riser that his drum set was on was moving.
It's funny we get into this conversation in case he's gone, the guy that like played all that shit.
Yeah, but
this is previous underwear model too.
But I mean, yeah, I guess you could see that like the editing and stuff with that album kind of open, not necessarily open, but showed us that things can be moved around in the studio, but it was in chunks still. It was still beta version of total inhuman editing processes that would happen after that. But you could tell it still is human, you know.
Oh, for sure. I heard, it was just things I heard from other people, but I always thought, it was just like, was Tim like, like a hired gun, or I didn't know what to think.
Just want to say that Cryptic Implosion Casey played it all the way through.
It was like one takes and shit. It was bananas.
Yeah.
But I got to pick Derek's mind a lot about it, and he also told me like, he was like, Bill, when we were like getting the band up and running, like from ground up and starting to do things and make things happen, like we would start doing like I don't know if you said it was like power washing or concrete sealant, like it was somewhere on the lines of like
something like that,
like home improvement stuff. And Bill had his own like gig, and everybody would like basically work together, and that way, like when it was time to take off and tour, it was all good to go, you know.
I mean, it was for a lot of it, it was more green jobs.
Nice.
Because Bill lived in my house for about 2 years, and so we were like, it would just be there was, we were distributing things in large volumes. But the thing is, well, Bill actually, he was a great gardener. I was distributing the small stuff, and just for like for survival, because at the time my rent was $500 a month. I remember it was me and like Kate. It was like a 3-bedroom house, and like everyone's paying $500, and there was like, it was a crazy house, like with there's the Brain Drill was there for a while. It was like Brain Drill, Odious, Decrepit, like all like practicing at the same time and shit, and like Odious would randomly jam to it, and it was just like the most death metal, like fucking Santa Cruz thing. One thing, I mean, you brought up Anytime Begins, and one thing I don't ever really talk about is, like me and my best friend Carrie Gear, we were all about like, like we found Necrophagus and Spawn of Possession like in 2001 or 2.
This is his version of of Ricky.
Yeah, and then like we heard a clip on the Unique Leader website that was Decrepit Birth, Anytime Begins, and we're like, what the fuck is this?
Right.
And then we looked, and it's all Santa Cruz, California. It's literally down the street. I'm in Santa Cruz at the time, and I'm like, so this is the exact area that I'm in. This is coming from like this insane music is like
your ears.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And then me and Carrie were just like, one day we're gonna be able to play, like, open up for them. That was the goal. That was the only goal, to open up for them. That was
little did you know.
I know, right? And it was just bananas that all fucking.
Did you see that funny picture that I posted, Joel? On the
I made that
story. So like that I don't know. I should like find it and post.
We just talked about Decrepit a bunch of drumming and stuff.
No, I was watching it live on my phone. I heard what you said. I heard it all.
Sick.
Oh,
Well, I
yeah.
didn't hear it all. I
As
didn't hear it all.
you
I heard
say.
like the last like few minutes, or a few like or last minute. I don't know. But there was this funny picture. Like I'm going to Colorado next week on work, and then I'm going to see my uncle and stuff. And so my uncle just sent me this random picture that I have like never seen. Like,
Yeah,
that
I don't
was,
remember taking the picture at all.
Yeah, I remember this picture, and we were in Colorado, and like with Decrepit, like all of us, and like my two aunts, like I'm like
2 ants and the full lineup
And
of
then-
Decrepit
yeah.
at the
And
time.
then,
Like
like,
wearing
we're
decrepit,
like
the
in-
ants are wearing decrepit sweatshirts, like long sleeve.
Yeah, they were repping hard.
because they bought all the merch. They're like, "Oh, we want the shit." Like, they're just being supportive and sweet. And they're like, super
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, you know how it goes, and it was super cool. And we always stay with them, and like when we're in, they're so sweet. They would like make us fajitas and stuff, and got the jacuzzi,
yeah.
and
They
like,
take us to Red Rocks and shit. and
yeah,
go
because
hang out
they're
at
in
Red Rocks.
Morrison, like over there.
Yeah. Red Rocks. Fuck,
Yeah.
that's a
Dude, that amphitheater is insane.
yeah. That's
Or just the
spot.
Red Rocks. There's Red Rocks like shooting
Yeah.
out of the ground, like in their backyard. Like it's crazy. Like it's a cool.
Yeah, it's so sick.
It's beautiful
God
out there.
That's-
Yeah,
The
That's like
video
a
of
goal.
Gojira playing there.
Oh, I
So-
know. I love
Yeah,
that
I know,
video so
right?
much. I've seen that
Yeah,
so many
yeah.
times. I
Yeah.
love that. I've actually watched that again like a week ago. Just
So
I watched
sick.
it like
I love.
I was like
Gojira.
obsessed with it for a long time, and then just let it go,
Same.
and then like randomly clicked it again, and was just like oh my god, like doing work shit, and I'm just getting the chills and just like a tears dropping. I'm like, that's so sad. Yeah, like I just get these like visceral reactions sometimes when music hits me. I'm just like, holy fuck, like
Yeah.
that's the,
You
the goal.
you had mentioned about living in that home with like 4 rooms, and it was like all occupied by like band members and stuff.
Mhm.
For a while, I was living like that. I lived in a punk house that was like a fire station that we renovated, and then last house I lived like that before moving in with my fiance. I slept. You guys know John Rice at all?
It sounds very familiar.
He was he drummed for Job for a Cowboy.
Yeah. I know
The
what
Red
you
Chord.
Yeah. Definitely.
I slept in his
I've only met
old
him
bedroom.
Yeah, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That was like a whole like commune of metal and punk. Or-
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I mean, for a while, like anytime a band would come
Charn.
through, we would be like, yeah, Charn. Yep,
Yeah, Charn.
Sean
Yeah,
Charn.
That's right.
Yeah, we would. I mean, both houses. Like, anytime there was a band coming through, we would wait until they were done, buy them drinks, and hang out, and be like, "Yo, like, you guys don't have a far drive. Like, you guys could crash at our place. So we have rooms." And
Dude,
That's
I mean,
cool.
that type of
Yeah.
stuff's needed, and I love being a part of one of those sanctuaries. I like to call those places sanctuaries.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them I've been a
You
part of.
know, where
Yeah.
we just, we have a common goal, and everybody's there. Like that furniture, that all the domes, some version of that happens so many different places. And
oh,
it's-
for sure,
and it's so beneficial for
it's very
Everybody-
nurturing.
involved in that, and it just gives much more potential to all those individuals that are involved in those little communes, whatever creative communes, not necessarily
Yeah.
a full-on commune, but it's just a place to go to be yourself and explore the levels of creativity, or you're just witnessing other people too. You're seeing, oh dude, Siskin's writing riffs, or Casey won't, he's playing crazy jazz stuff over in the corner, and you're like,
Yeah,
what the fuck's going on right now? And it just like it stirs up all
Piano.
that stuff inside
Yeah,
you.
he plays that
Only
piano,
piano.
that piano in
Oh,
his
yeah,
real
yeah.
background.
yeah.
But
Or
why-
you see a record they have, and you're like, damn, they have
Oh,
this.
totally, dude.
Totally.
I mean, I learned so much from these guys. I got into Zappa because of a record on their wall. It was
That's
the
sick.
cover. It was the cover of "We're Only in It for the Money," and they're all wearing dresses. I'm like, what the fuck is up with this shit, dude? And I
Oh yeah.
listen to it. It's one of the great. It's still one of my favorite records from that era. Now,
Yeah,
Well, it's sick. I
that's
mean,
how
that you. Yeah, go ahead, Devin.
I was gonna say that's how I got into Parliament. Was
Oh fuck
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So damn.
moving into this punk house, and I see I see maggot brain. Like I see this like
It's
this
so great.
woman buried up to her head, afro, she's screaming, and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
we all smoked a bowl of weed and DMT.
Oh,
And
shit.
yeah, it's about to get Joe Rogan real quick. And
here we go.
and I remember listening to it and just like kicking back, and I was like, track one, and I was like, this is badass, man. And then from there, I get into like George Clinton and Bootsy Collins. And,
Oh,
Fuck yeah.
fucking hell
Yeah,
yeah!
I was like,
I am so down with that shit, dude. I fucking
Hell yeah.
hell
I'm
yeah.
all about that shit. Genre stuff and fucking Prince. I throw a lot of
I love
Prince in that
Prince.
kind of shit. Like in that whole like,
Yep.
I put my shit in like genres, like on my dorky digital things, and so like I get all like Apple Music. I'm like, okay, like this is like funk, this soul,
Hell
this
yeah.
Stevie
Any-
Wonder.
any-
shit, like
Anytime
70s.
we're in Minneapolis, I make sure to see all
Oh,
the
yeah.
like
Dude,
the Prince murals and everything too. And
so down.
What's
And
that,
I'm
what's
not-
that
I'm
venue
not-
called? Studio 7? Is that
No, it's
Studio
like
Seven.
is Studio
oh
7?
no, First Street or Second or what's
Oh,
the
First
street?
Street, something like yeah, something
Is
like
it-
that. There's that Prince,
what's
the
the
Purple
one?
Rain.
Well, that's
venue.
the
oh yeah,
one,
yeah, yeah. There's I can't remember
First
where we
Avenue
played
or
last.
something, or some
First Avenue.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
That's
yeah.
it.
Put there with Necrophagist.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no, with Origin
Or
at least.
Prince-
Yeah, it was an
or
because
Prince
it's Necro too. Yeah. And you walk upstairs and there's like the Purple Rain thing. The poster.
Yeah.
Dude, that place was so fucking rad. It sounded so good in there, dude. Origin. I remember just like watching Origin at the Prince Club, like specifically, and just being like, Jesus, like there's like something about the sound, like was just so precise. Like Origin
Yeah.
sounded so good to me that night. And I was just like, fuck, this is great. And I like remember told like I was just like I had a drink or something, and I was like talking to the sound guy, and I was like, this sounds so good, or some guy, and he was just like looking at me like, whatever. And I was just like, this sounds great. And then like I heard they like closed it after that, like soon after or something. I don't know, but
Yeah, I don't know if they closed it. I haven't been there for a long time.
or whatever that club was at the time, but it was still First Avenue, or what's it called? Is that what it's called? I don't know.
I think it was one of those, but I mean, actually getting back to like the commune, because Odious and Casey, David, all these people, like what they would do in their houses when I first moved in was they just had like records that they liked of all different genres all over the wall, and I would like see them constantly, like, and it got me into. I always like loved like certain songs by bands, but I never like they're like no this album by this band, and I would be like King Crimson or something. I'd be like, what?
Oh,
What's going on with this? Yeah, and I'd be like, check this out, and I'd like listen to it. And I'm like, oh fuck, like there's so many bands that I like was unwilling to listen to until jamming with all these guys and stuff.
Oh,
and
dude.
then they'd had them like all these albums on the wall, and I'd just be like, oh, what's
It's
that about?
essential.
And just listen to it.
You got to be into all the fusion jazz shit too. You got to be in Billy Cobham, dude, doing double bass. And even going back, they had double bass and shit too. But Billy Cobham though, like shit like that, like 70s. Dude, it's all about
the 70s shit. You guys got me into the 70s stuff.
It's like, okay, so like there's like, okay, so when it comes down to it, like, okay, obviously the mainstream rock and roll, Led Zeppelin, all that stuff, like was a big thing in the 70s. That's great, made a bunch of money, AC/DC, all that rock and roll. But like the fringe stuff, like Black Sabbath, which kind of like, that's not fringe, but it came in and then brought the metal stuff and all that. But like, dude, you had I don't know, at that whole time, we're just talking about, oh my god, I fucking lost my track.
We're talking about 70s Billy Cobham.
Oh yeah. But at the same time in the 70s, the fusion like fusion jazz rock crossover with like Mahavishnu and all the Billy Cobham stuff and King, prog rock and all that, but from the fusion jazz angle, like like Return to Forever and all the sick drummers doing all the like, or the Herbie Hancock albums, like all the guys playing, Steve Gadd, Vinnie Colaiuta, fucking all the drummers playing on all that 70s shit. It's like fucking more metal than metal itself, dude. It's like those guys
that's
are,
Martin Wood too,
dude. Yeah,
but
I'm just saying, like the monsters, like of those time. I don't know. That stuff.
Well, they're just kind of, it's kind of like what we did with death metal, like how we talk about like the rabbit holes we get into. Like, no, dude, there's this band and this band.
Yeah,
it's like, why is fucking? I mean, back in the day, I would say there's a lot of cool. There was like pop shit that I was like, fuck yeah, sick. You know, like Pearl Jam, Stone Temple Pilots, all
Bill
the things.
Bruford.
Bill Bruford.
For sure.
But,
Talking about like all the fast ride pattern, dude. This guy, you know, Bill Bruford from King Crimson that Ian's pointing out here, and yes, and all that shit. But dude, like it's not just about the double bass and all that, dude. The hands and the ride patterns and all the ideas and the timings and all that shit. Like you can add that. All we do is add double bass and kind of expand upon it. But that's where it all came from. Like that's the sick. Neil Peart and all, of course, like Neil. You know, but that's also like to me, it's like the same. It's like, dude, Neil Peart and like, you know, Bill Bruford are like the same level. Like,
and they just add double bass behind it. That's actually that's a huge thing to say. It's just like, dude, okay, well, just like for crazy death metal, it's like, all right, Bill Bruford, all stuff, but like go under it, and then it's it's death metal.
The way to like approach like patterns on the cymbals and rides and stuff, and to do like little I mean, I don't know.
No, I feel you. Now the you know, a special moment was going from metal elitist to just music nerd, you know, and being exposed to, you know, a lot of bands. That was it's what makes me just appreciate music and all, you know, was getting into bands like Gentle Giant,
fuck yeah,
King Crimson, Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah.
You know, and you can listen to that and you're like, damn, what year did they write this? Like this is miles ahead of like so much shit, man. And then you get into like older like trad metal, and then you're like, dude, I would pay to go see this now and be blown away.
Yeah.
So
there was an interview I remember with Niall like years ago, like 20 years ago or something, where they're just like, what do you listen to on the tour bus? And this is like way back. And they're like, oh, like Yes, and
I love Yes,
and like Rush, and like they're all about like 2112, or like brought up that album. And just like, that's what I'm talking about, dude.
If you think about it, dude, we rarely listened to death metal in the van when we were on bloodletting or anything like that. We needed palate cleansers because we were just
you don't want to get burnt out. We're the same way. You know, we listen to it's crazy. It's a lot of how can I put it? It's a lot of like post rock stuff. We'll also listen to like Flock of Seagulls, and
I'm down. I'm fucking super down.
Like all kinds of moody, just stuff that
I just
smoke weed and look at the scenery.
Right,
dude.
We like crying.
We love Depeche Mode. One of our come on songs like on stage is Policy of Truth.
Oh, so a lot.
Yeah. And it's funny because when you have like the vest wearing like metal elitists, like they're listening to, they're like, who the fuck's playing this? And we're like, us. You know, like we picked it. That's why it rocks.
Right.
So.
It's almost like do you think like I feel like there is a part of me that, you know, because I was in the metal elitist kind of mindset for you know, probably through my up to my mid-20s, maybe later. But like then it turns that you're being rebellious against the metal elitist. You're like, fuck it, dude. I like fucking I like fucking Enjoy the Silence by Depeche Mode more than any of these songs. Why the fuck are we listening? I don't know. It feels like because of the metal elitism gets so extreme sometimes that you're like that sometimes. And I'd be worried to show fucking shit to people. You know, like back in the day, I'd be like, oh god, this isn't like gonna be. There's a clean singing part. It's gonna be on, or it's gonna be like something. I'd be like, I'm not gonna show it to anyone, and then.
You're making up rules like in your head.
Right,
like,
exactly.
Like you better not fucking wear the band that you're about to go see shirt like at the show. Otherwise, you and your friends are just rag on everybody, you know. And
against that though. That's like for me, I like rebelled against that. I'm like, I'm gonna do all the things that annoy them, all the elitists, because it's funny to me now. Like I'm gonna wear like I'll get a Nickelback shirt and wear it to the most brutal death metal. Like I don't know why that brings me pleasure, but I just like, it's kind of like ragging on just like what they're so like,
you're inserting novelty into the situation.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm a big comedy fan too, so
It's your middle finger to everything
Yeah.
that you also are or you were at least some degree. You know, and
Totally.
I'm the same way. Like, and then I'll see like people talk or they'll be on videos and they're like, oh yeah, everyone in that band's a poser, and I'm like,
Oh,
the
God.
fuck does that mean? Like, I listen to like some brutal ass shit. I was buying CDs as a kid that like nobody knows about, and
Yeah.
but dude, I'm old enough and been so much into it that like I don't have to prove anything to anybody. I've already impressed the people
Exactly.
that I wanted to impress. So
It's
I
like you're
still
almost
wear
cooler.
flip
Like in
flops
my
to
head,
shows, dude.
yeah, you're cooler if you like more variety. Like not if you're
yeah, if
stuck
you
in a fucking tunnel in a bubble with people. Like it's like because that's what I see. What I used to see with like death metal. It's like it was only death metal and like all the time. That's all you could listen to. And like I mean, amongst other groups of people that were like the arms like this judgy people. But like I was like, no, dude,
yeah,
I'll listen to fucking. I don't know. Just throw out. I'll listen to I'll listen to The Weeknd. Like I think The Weeknd's sick. Like I'll listen to things
same.
that like people like are just like, oh, dude, it's fucking pop. Like whatever. Like like I'll throw that on. Just be like, I think it's dude, this fucking talent behind this is sick. So I respect,
Exactly.
and I have a lot of people show me music I don't necessarily like, but I'll always try to find something cool in it. I always try to
Yeah.
find a thing in it. Like people are like, you're not gonna like it. You're not, like, just show it to me, and it'd just be like a country song, and I'm like, that guitar player is solid as fuck, dude. That guy
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
shreds. I can tell that guy shreds. The song's not necessarily hitting me in the feels or any kind of emotional way, but those musicians are insane. Like I'll find the plus in the music. Like I'm down for all music as long as there's like some legit like talented person in it. And I'm like, fuck yeah, that bass player is fucking killing it, for Garth Brooks or whatever.
Oh, for
like
sure.
you know what I mean? Or someone random. I'll just be like,
Taylor
dude, that
Swift.
fucking
That's the
yeah.
second
I've
Garth
been
Brooks
I've been
reference in
getting
this
into
episode.
this indie songwriter because the way he plays bass and his like odd time signature
I love
like
that.
drum
Yeah.
patterns. I'm like, dude, it's kind of mathcore. I was like, I fuck with this, So
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you guys ever have the chance, listen, I'll plug them too. Coolest name ever, Sad Gilmore.
Oh yeah.
Gilmore. And I've been just on a huge kick, like
All right.
with his stuff. But yeah, like with what you're saying, man, if your palette is just one thing, then you're boring.
Yeah.
Not only that, life is boring for that
Life,
person.
yeah. And you're gonna get bored of it so quick.
And I also don't
that-
believe it. I also don't believe them. Like I'm like, really?
Yeah, they're
That's
full
it?
of shit.
They're full of shit, dude.
Yeah.
You like
They're full of shit.
there's some pop songs sometimes you're like, it's sick. But no.
They're too. I mean, you're just too worried about what other people think.
Yeah.
And then,
into us,
but-
people. What you're worried about people judging you.
Yeah.
but it's
She's
funny
not
because-
gonna fuck you just because you listen to all brutal bands and nothing else.
right.
Right.
That's actually going to be a turn off. Even if the chick is
Yeah.
all death metal, because I'm sure she's got some guilty pleasures too. She
Oh,
hasn't
for sure.
disclosed
Yeah,
yet,
for
you
sure.
know?
Yeah.
And I also I agree with that. I did do some of that, but I do look back on my shit and I'm just now going ego. I did hang on to a lot of things.
Yeah,
until
Anthony was the most
I took a
ballsy.
lot of shit going.
Yeah, we gave him
through.
so much shit for like his iPod. The shit he was like, Kill Switch Engage, bro.
Dude,
What
I
the
was
fuck?
fucking,
And now
yeah.
I fell in love with Kill Switch Engage at 38.
They're sick. Yeah, dude. They totally skipped me like growing up, but
Oh, me
as
too.
I got older, I was
Well,
like,
that's-
yo,
one example too, but just so many examples of these things where I just had to dig my heels in and be like, no, it's still mine. Don't take it away
Oh,
from
yeah.
me, dude. No.
this is my last serenade.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Perfect,
Uh,
dude. All
I
right,
remember
don't
like
even know where-
Anthony's iPod though. We would like he would go like he'd park somewhere in his car and like we would
just
take
put
it
on
and just
random.
make fun of all of his. We'd be like, dude, this band. Because we were like in that like metal elitist mindset
Yeah.
still. We were like when we actually did like other stuff, but we were like, oh, what, dude? No, dude.
Sing,
You know,
clean
you gotta
singing
clown.
was the thing that I
Yeah,
had
it's
to
clowning,
defend
yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
Clean
And
singing
Anthony
was the thing I
stood
had
by
to
it the whole
defend.
time. He did not waver, didn't waffle. He was
Spiral
like, no, dude,
Architects
it's
was
sick,
one of the
dude.
bands where I was
No,
like,
we love Spiral.
I know, but
Yeah.
you guys were like, dude, listen to him sing, or like Watchtower with vote. They were like,
me and
Spats
Carrie
the-
were into that shit a long
Yeah.
time. Yeah, for a long
Oh
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
And we were.
it's
I knew about it too, dude. What, dude? Your elitism isn't as cool as mine.
Now he's starting to get. Dude, I'm starting to get shot down again, guys.
you know,
Yeah,
it's crazy because
flashback.
like Bog, like starting off, you know, I was really, I mean, still, I'm the guy that's like most into death metal,
Yeah,
and so you know, and sometimes I'd forget that because like I would hear a part that like our original lineup would be playing. I'm like, this reminds me of Mortal Decay,
yeah.
and I'm like, you ever heard that song? And they're like, no, and then like clown me for it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like, I'm the only like death metal like huge nerd. Like,
What was your first like Unique Leader band you came across, or even learning about Unique Leader in general?
oh shit, man. Damn, what was my first Unique Leader band? That's crazy to think about. I don't know, but but
Or
you
first
know,
Unique Leader memory? Like, what's the thing that first stood out? Because at
Probably
one
What's on
point
His
it was
Chest.
every band on that label was so quality.
yeah, it was like a posse. You know, yeah, it's crazy seeing pictures of like Matty Way and like all these bands. I swear to God, they're throwing up gang signs in these pictures. And I'm like, yo, these dudes look hard, like they, you know. And I don't know, man, because I'm a big fan of all that stuff.
Right.
I always say like my favorite guitar players in death metal period are Eric Lindmark and Terrence Hobbs. And
Those are fucking quality ones.
Yep.
Those are
dude,
good.
man, Lindmark's got the coolest fucking riff style, dude. And R.I.P.
Totally.
man. And
Yeah.
and Deeds of Flesh, their whole discography, even the stuff that people are like, oh, it's too noodly, and I'm like, I like it, I love it.
I love every single album, dude.
There's always room for a little bit of progression or a little bit of differences, like here and there. You know, of course, like I'll always really like Trading Pieces and Path of Awakening, and you know that has its time in history, and
Totally.
you know, dude, like Portals and fucking was it Mark of the Legion?
Yeah.
Those albums are so fucking sick.
Mark of the
Hamilton,
Legion,
dude.
for whatever reason, like hit me the hardest. Like when
Same.
I was younger, I was like that Cleansed by Fire. I was like,
Yeah,
holy fuck. It just like that groove to it. It had technicality and groove. And I was just
yeah,
like,
man.
your head had, it was like a pirate metal song. I was like,
And that
you know, like
and
it was,
that's my favorite shit, man. Like like simplicity is sick
yeah,
because
totally.
it brings out that like you know, like out of you. But the way Suffocation and Deeds of Flesh does it is it's fast as fuck, it's shreddy, and then
Precise.
boom, when it
Hits you.
hits, when
Totally.
it hits with the slow groove
100%.
and then the slow chugs, it hits even harder because you don't even know it's building up to that. You think it's just
Yeah.
going to keep going faster and faster and faster, but then it doesn't. And then what do? They bring that slow riff back, and it's like you just want to fucking rip his head off their neck and
dude.
laugh at it, you know, and it's
and want it to laugh back.
yeah. You love it so much you want to talk to it, you know. So and that's the best kind of fucking death metal for me, man. And
Right.
and it's crazy because like, you know, I want to be the guy that's like, hey, here's my top whatever, you know, for the year. But it's like I'm listening to the same shit every fucking year. You know, I don't. It's the same bands I always want to listen.
You're like,
to.
Wait a minute, what came out this year? Let me go back and look so I can
Yeah.
list.
Let me listen to it now. You know.
Yeah, there is a hypnotic aspect to what you're talking about, dude, and it is a formula that Suffo and Deeds are great examples of, dude, and there's something about Suffo that, you know, that makes me even close to 40. I can't tell you, I might still be in the pit You know, it might end up
Oh
happening.
yeah, it's like shit.
There's-
I need to go.
I don't
in.
going
need
to
to
a Suffo show. I don't know what's going to happen in my mind and in my body that night that I might make a bad decision. You know,
Oh yeah, man.
whether
I
or not
know.
how much alcohol I've had, it's still going to be like their music that makes me I might get a bruise
Yeah.
or a fucking black eye or some shit.
Twist
I
your
They,
end up-
yeah, they make me forget that I don't have health insurance. You know,
Oh,
they
Yeah, dude.
especially like touring with them, like you know, they were doing Europe. They come out in front of the hotel, and immediately I just like look at Terrence and Ricky, and I'm just like, you guys need help? Like I want to help you, you know,
Right.
and start unloading stuff. And Ricky just asked me like. He's like, "Do you want to do Liege with us every night?" And I was like, "Is it the ass beater riff? Like, you want me to do that?" And he's like, "Yeah, man." And I was like, "Oh, dude, yeah." And like, I already knew, like, I mean, if there's one person that I idolize within the genre, I think I think it's pretty obvious. I owe him a paycheck. I fucking love Frank Mullen, dude.
Yeah, he's
I
my
like,
favorite too, dude.
dude. He's so
He's the
sick.
reason why I started doing it too, dude.
Exactly, you know, and so many people have told me that, and like it's like I saw Frank Mullen and was just like, dude, this is the guy, and
And
you know,
have you ever met him? Have you ever hung out with him?
so I got to meet him briefly, you know, because like they did they did like a couple regional shows like on their way to a fest. They played like 4 shows, and the lineup was Guy, Terrence, Derek, Frank, and Kevin Talley. This is like
12 or 13?
2016.
16. Okay.
So it was like right before with for good.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to shoot the shit with them. And my friend Pat Myers from Premonitions of War were at the show. And then Trevor Strnad was at the show because this is around the time he lived in Detroit.
Right.
Or like
Michigan
Roosevelt,
area.
yeah, Ferndale area. But he came to Toledo sometimes for shows, and he was there that particular night. There's not even 30 people there,
Jesus.
and Frank's like on his own, and I just kind of like shot the shit with him, and I got a picture. I have a time where I seen Suffo even before that when I was in high school. I had X's on my hands because. You know, I was underage, so they
Underage,
actually,
okay.
yeah, and I got none of that, but I got a picture of me and Terrence Hobbs, like I'm holding the horns up, and
Yeah.
we did a bus share, so like I'm telling him about it, and he was like, let's recreate that picture, man, and I'm like, all right,
Sick.
but yeah, man, I got to talk to Frank a little bit on that night, and then I the very last day of tour, we FaceTimed him.
Sick.
And I got to shoot the shit with him. And what the coolest thing ever was like, I didn't know he knew me, you know, or knew about me.
Mm-hmm.
But he told me, he was like, "Hey man, when you're doing this, tilt the hand."
And
I'm like,
the hand chop. Yeah,
I'm like, yes, sir. Like, yeah, dude.
That's awesome.
Not straight down, give it a little angle, dude.
Yeah.
That's
So,
rad.
you know, and we did Liege. I did Liege every night, and like the first like 4 shows after I would do my part, I just run and fucking just cannonball into the crowd. And it was just so bad. Dude.
Yeah.
And then the last show, the very last show,
We got some volume shit going
Okay,
on.
I was like, it says I can't unmute the guest. I was like, shit, that's my headphones. I'm just gonna nod for a while because I was like, that's mine. It says it can't unmute.
Weird.
man.
There you are.
There it is.
There it is. I think
weird.
my headphones disconnected.
Oh, it's all good. You sound good right there.
All right, I do. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So the very last show they played Infecting the Cribs, and I took Charlie's backup guitar, and I ended up just air guitaring to the song, and was just like walking in front of them, getting in their faces and shit. And it was cool,
That's
man.
awesome.
That was my first Suffolk song I ever heard, dude. The OG Human Waste mix. Is that
yeah.
they redid it on
Yeah, they would redo a song from Human Waste like every album leading up to it.
Yeah,
Right.
that's so sick. Yeah,
And
I got to do
not Human Waste, Breeding the Spawn.
I got to do the God Forbid with Frank
God
on
Forbid,
Funeral
God
Inception.
Forbid.
Yeah, in Pennsylvania. It's funny because I've forgotten about that, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got to like sing with, even though like I'm not a vocalist, but I was like trying to, I was like trying, and I have like not a sustainable voice. Like when I do my growl, it's like I'm done in like a sentence and a half, but I'm like, I was, very lubricated by alcohol and stuff, and got to go up there and yeah, I got to tour them like 3 or 4 times, and with only Frank, and yeah, Frank's the fucking man. Like, I would fucking go on their bus, and Terrence Frank play poker all the time, and then kick their fucking ass. And then and then they'd be all pissed at me.
Just
like,
super chill, and like his the way he is on stage. I just remember him just being so dialed down.
I watched every single set that they did. I watched every set I've seen or I've played with them. Probably, I've probably seen them 100 and something times. I've seen every single song that they've ever done, like every night. I was like, just the vibe was different every night, and it was like I've toured with them. With the weirdest tour was it was us and like Whitechapel on them, and Whitechapel was exploding at the time, and they were right under Suffocation, and it was a bummer for Suffocation because
was that the Blood Oath tour?
Yes, yep, it was.
I saw that tour.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
That was, and like I remember like because Whitechapel was so humongous that it would just be all these deathcore and hardcore kids coming in. And then Suffocation would go on, and it would be like fucking 40 people, like, and watching Suffocation. I was like, what the fuck?
I went for that. I went to that tour because my friends were into Whitechapel, and when Suffocation played, all of us were like, "That was the band of the night."
Yeah.
They fucking took it, and yeah, man. That was crazy. Doing this tour, and I've seen every, like, not every rendition, because I never got to see him with Mike or anybody. Or wait,
yeah.
No, I don't think I have. I think the only other drummer besides Kevin and Eric I saw them with was Dave Ross.
So we toured with Mike in 2009 with Suffocation, Mike and Frank. So that was the last time I think that maybe he was on tour.
Oh yeah. And then,
dude,
but
Cole Ross was so perfect when I saw him with Suffo, dude.
Oh yeah, dude. He's one of my favorite. Him and Pete Sandoval are like my favorite.
And I know I can tell by your Insta name, dude, that his performance on Bleeding Profusely, dude.
Oh yeah, fuck
Chef's kiss, dude.
Oh yeah,
sure.
Yeah, I'm a huge Gasm fan, man. I've had their logo tattooed on me for like 10 years now.
Where at? Where is it?
It's on the back of my calf.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah,
where you and Dan Kenny probably clicked pretty hard with
big time. Because he was like, when he saw me, he was like, I bet I can out brutal death metal you.
Oh God, of course.
And I was like, buddy, I'll do you one better. And he was like, what's that? I was like, I own 4 of your old shirts. I bought them from you on Depop, So I was like, I'll
stealing your clout, dude.
And we nerded out pretty hard.
That's rad.
Yeah.
No, dude, you put up recently a collection of albums that were influential, and I'm 97% on all of those albums, sick. Dude.
Calculating Infinity.
Yeah, dude, that one. Yeah, dude, I love all that stuff, dude. Calculating is actually. You talked to Mike Gilbert from Sever. That's one of his most influential records as well, dude. I love listening to early Dillinger and late Dillinger too. But
I used to fuck with that shit too. It's good.
Yeah, Calculating was something very special because it was my
Yeah.
first introduction to that. I mean, what else can you call Dillinger other than it is math?
Math. Yeah.
It's math core. But it's extreme and just more. I don't know. There's chaotic and there's that
Yeah.
first self-titled too. You could see that they were like blossoming into that.
hmm
But I still love that self-titled too.
They're pioneers, of that.
Yeah.
Of that realm.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Back then, that was.
yeah. Because they were chaotic, but obviously there were a lot more bands to follow that really expanded on the chaoticness.
Right.
And later on, they kind of held back and introduced like more like feel goody like type shit with it.
Yeah.
They're just such an awesome fucking band, man. And
that name too, Calculating Infinity, it's such a great explanation for what they're trying to do, dude. And also, yeah, moving. I think that Patton actually gave them some like rabies before he left, and they kind of took that and that little EP that they did with Patton on vocals. I think that kind of redirected them into that direction. They try and harness like the Patton S, and
Greg does a good Mike Patton, Trent Reznor
right
style of vocals, and it's sick because he could also do. I mean, he got the job, basically covering all of Dimitri shit, and he can nail it. And then you're like, what, this fucker can sing?
Yeah, dude.
No.
What was that one video where they're at the Tower Records or some shit, dude, and
runs across the
whole crowd, dude?
Coolest video ever.
It would give me goosebumps no matter how many times I watched it.
I like that.
Myself as a front man and trying to do something like that.
You got to watch the Dillinger fails compilations where they throw their guitars and it lands right on their fucking heads. All kinds of shit. It's
seen him. I'm failing because I've been smoking and drinking. What's his name? What's the vocalist's name again? Greg
Puciano.
Yeah. So I had seen him at a festival too, climb up to the monitors and just put his ears right in the festival speakers, shooting out to the crowd as he's screaming into the microphone. I was just like, "That's the stupidest but kind of coolest thing I ever seen."
Oh, yeah.
Guy's just murdering his eardrums for the sake of his own art.
Yeah, I mean they put it into it when they could, because I feel like they were probably gonna be like, dude, we're really gonna hurt ourselves if we keep.
I think the candle burns at both ends with that group for sure.
They're coming back, by the way. With
you're never gonna see an acoustic, an acoustic Dillinger reunion.
Oh yeah!
How crazy would that be, dude?
That'd be crazy, yeah.
That is a cool thing with Dillinger, though. I mean, not a cool thing, but they had their issues with the singer and Ben and stuff, like weren't really like hitting it off, I guess, towards the end. But so they decided to part ways in the band. But I had a feeling like you can't just end. I don't know that shit. Like you can't just like go away like with that, because their going away show was like a multiple sold out shows in New York, like insane huge shows, and because the singer and Ben were like having issues, they're gonna go back and bring Calculating Infinity back and play some shows with Dimitri and vocals.
So sick.
I think bands need to stop saying farewell tour. I think that just needs to be
it's
now,
rude.
Dude.
It's rude.
I think it's obvious that it's not.
Sure, man. I like Slayer. I don't care.
No, I like Slayer, but the thing is, like, Kiss has like
about Slayer.
He's had 7 farewell tours. Kiss has. It's like, all right, dude. Yeah. Like on the 8th, is it real or
Oz? No more tours.
Yeah. I'm just tired of it, dude. There's so many times where it's like, oh, they're back again. I don't.
Yeah, but then there's the opposite where it's like Ozzy, where you're like, come back. Oh,
well, I know, but Yeah, that's a different situation.
I know, but it's the opposite.
But
I mean,
how many times did Ozzy say farewell too?
I know, but
He's
it's
been saying it
still
since I was in
sad.
high school.
Joseph,
Sorry, Devin, your mic's cutting out, so you're talking, but it's not coming through. So I'm going to make some changes. All right, here we go. I think we're good now.
We're back. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying, yeah, Sharon's gonna pedal that money wagon for as
Yeah.
long as she can.
Yeah, I
She's
know.
got a couple
But-
more pedals out,
But
and then it's done.
I
dude.
think he wishes he could perform the like.
Oh yeah, the fact that he's been performing this long is probably a good percentage of why he's still with us, dude. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if Ozzy retired a long time ago, what else would Ozzy be doing? You know,
Right. Same with King and same with Rob Halford, Bruce
Yep.
Dickinson.
Lemmy.
Yeah,
Lemmy
dude.
was.
I saw Motorhead at Louder Than Life, like when he was sick. You know, when everyone knew he was sick and
Yeah.
it wasn't looking good, and he canceled a couple shows, but
Mm-hmm.
they dropped the banner, and I saw it and was like, no fucking way, because we were all talking about like, are they going to cancel the day of, like, and he was sick, man. He's
That's a beautiful man, dude. I mean, for just knowing, who that fucking legend is and stuff, and there's been times where I've been a little drunk around him, but at Rainbow Room in LA and stuff, there's been times where I got to shake his hand. He'd talk to me. He was very nice. He was sitting there playing fucking poker, video poker, and just would turn around like one of the nuclear blast guys would come up and be like, "This is Joel. How's it going?" And I would just like shake his hand, but fuck yeah, great to meet you, man. Don't want to try not to take up too much of your time, but I really appreciate you and stuff. And he's all, fuck yeah, I appreciate it. Well, awesome, man. And just turn back around and play poker.
Yeah.
So, but he gave you he gave eye contact. The fact that I feel like a lot of celebrities and stuff nowadays are becoming so annoyed with phone pictures and all the things that come with I just want to show my friends that I'm with you, rather than having a conversation, just a quick conversation with you. I think a lot of them would rather have that quick conversation.
Yeah, Lemmy's definitely the Mount Rushmore, man. When it comes to icons and stuff, and what you mentioned too about the whole picture thing, that brings me to when I was a kid and I would see Fetus, I would try my damnest to get a picture with John Gallagher, and he would just beeline to the bus every single time,
Right.
And then when we toured with him last year,
chillest guy ever.
It was like he can't. Now we ended up at the bar, and I was like, all right, man, now's my chance. So I get to shoot the shit with them and talk about bands and talk about basically just telling them thank you, for his contribution and
Totally.
what it meant to me. And
Right.
I'm sure you guys have gotten to talk to him. He talks like this.
Yeah, super chill, mellow.
I've never had a conversation.
Oh no,
with him.
touring with him. I remember
him.
the same thing. I was seeing him on stage. I was like, he's very intimidating. I don't want to fuck with him or anything. And then we ended up being in our van every day, smoking joints with us every day. It's like, fuck yeah, man. I don't know. It was just all chill, and we're like, what the fuck? That's John.
They'd be like, ha, 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 ha. I loved making them laugh on tour, but that moment in particular, I was like, yo, dude, I hate to be that guy. And I was like, but I feel like I have an upper hand right now because I'm touring with. But I was like, can I get a fucking picture? Yeah. And he's like, sure, man, yeah, absolutely. And he stuck up the horns the same time I did. I was like, this is fucking sick. I was
dude, the first time you heard that dude's voice too is like Matty Way. You're wearing Discogs too. There's these firsts that you have with these voices in this shit where you're like, holy shit, that's a human, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I love his voice.
Yeah, especially Matty's, and another dude that really blew me away was Blue from Guttural Secrete.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. That
Dude,
first EP, how with that intro and then the axe drops, because isn't that from Gangs in New York?
yeah,
Yeah, and that scene too. That's that when you watch that scene, it's so intense, and just the sound of that axe dropping into the table, and then Blue right after that with everybody else just right behind him. You're just like punched in the face, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Totally broken nose metaphorically.
yeah, and he's a scary looking dude too. You know, he's
He's a teddy bear though. I've hung out with him a couple times.
Yeah,
My-
Yes, intimidating for sure, with all the tats up his neck and
Yeah,
down his perfectly
wrist.
sculpted arms, and
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, first time I met him, I was kind of pissed. I was like, dude, you're too hot to be doing this, dude. Like, we save some, like, I don't want, like, a heartthrob in death metal, or, like,
Right.
Slam. Or Slam, I think, actually, Guttural
He's the
Secrete
tiger.
actually introduced me to Slam, because we were, my buddy was opening for them, and they were playing in Fresno, and I had no idea. I just thought it was grind. Like, Devourment was headlining. It was, Flesh Consumed was the band I went with, but it was Guttural Secrete, and then Flesh Consumed, and like Gary Busey Incident, or some random funny band. And I remember just like everyone started doing. I talk about this. I've mentioned it a million times, but everyone started doing this during this. This is like 2006 or 7 or something, and everyone started doing this during the heavy parts. And like this guy was like behind me doing it and kind of like humping me, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" I was like, I only knew like the normal death metal stuff, and like normal like mosh pits and like bass, like I knew that. And the Slam thing was brand new, and I had no idea, and I was like, "What's going on?" But Blue was, I just saw Blue, and I'm like, "God damn it, fucking male model, hot ass, save some." Fucking, I mean, not for the rest. I'm saying at the time, at the time I was like all fat, and I was all fat, and I was like, God damn it, this guy with the 6-pack sucks. But even though he was super nice to me, and we hung out all night, but I was like, just seeing that, it's funny, like a male thing where you're just like, dude, this hot piece of shit, dude, motherfucker. Like girls do that a lot too.
The first time I met him in person, my band Limb Splitter was playing with Inherent Disease and Malignancy.
Shout out Obi.
Yeah, I love Obi. Obi Fett, man.
Fuck yeah.
And he knew my name like already, and I was like, damn, man, like I've been listening to you since I was in school. Like you're like my guy. And Nelson were like huge. Like I still can't compare anybody to like that, like pedigree of vocals. And
sick.
Yeah, man, for him to like know who I was and everything already, and was like talking to me, I was like, how the fuck, like, are you stalking me, you know, like Blue's like a big like death metal nerd, you know. And
you just need one of those as I'm not saying that you guys are up and coming, whatever. I'm just saying for any artist that's doing something in a scene or whatever, to hear one person that you are inspired by say that they know about what you've done, that's a recharged. You're recharged for. I don't know, a long time after that, dude.
Oh yeah, totally.
Just that one little validation.
Yep.
Will make you go hit the fucking hit the lab and get something cooking again, dude.
Absolutely.
And I love that, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it's crazy because, like, you know, when we get name dropped by like people outside of the genre or you know, people that like other people look up to, they're all like, you know, everyone else in the band's like really stoked. But for me, for whatever reason, man, it's the band that, like I told you, like that I gatekeep.
Yeah.
And then I find out like, oh, they fucked with us, like that's sick. Like what really full circle is like on the Cattle tour that we did, we played Massachusetts, and Mike DeSalvo who was on Whisper Supremacy, Cryptopsy, which is personally my favorite.
Me too.
Sick.
And cited as many of guests on the show as their
he's been on
favorite era
multiple-
of
yeah.
Cryptopsy. Yes,
Love
Oh,
it, dude.
Yeah, it's my favorite one.
I love the whole thing, but yes, he made a very, very unique addition that I treasure in his little era of Cryptopsy for sure.
Oh, for sure. And for him to like message me beforehand and be like, "Yo, I'm coming to the show." Like, dude, I gotta have a beer with you. I want to hang out. I gotta get a picture. And you know, did just that. That was enough for me. That whole tour where I was like, that's fucking cool. Well, there's a lot of people on that tour that like I got to meet and like geek out over, like Dave Astor, you know, DeSalvo, Kelly, who I've met a couple times before from Mortal DK.
Oh, excuse me.
And then at Gene Hoglan, we were in
Damn.
that was so cool. And fuck, who else? Todd Jones from Nails, and
Shit.
yeah, bunch of people, dude. And I'm like, yeah, that's a cool thing about like being in a band that gets to do shit is like being a fan of the music never gets taken away.
Right.
Yeah.
At least for me, man, because like, you know, I look at it too, like where I'm like in these shoes now, where people are like a fan of me and they want to take pictures and stuff, and it's like, well, damn, man, if you're looking at me like I looked up to like Frank Mullen and Eric Lindmark and like all these people, then I owe it to you to take a picture with you.
Yes.
And, like tell you fuck yeah, and
that's rad, dude.
You know, and at least converse with you a little, as much as I can.
For sure, dude.
You listen to their whole demos that they give you?
I do.
Okay, the whole thing?
I will. Yeah.
Nice. That's rad.
It sounds like the kind of guy who will.
I know, that's awesome.
I don't know names, but there are band members that they have this ongoing joke, and when I first heard it, I was like, oh, that's fucked. But I know somebody that said, yeah, when I get handed these, I tell them I'm going to sign them to Roadside Records.
Oh my God. That comes from us, dude. That comes from us. That comes from us in the Faceless.
Really? Was that a joke from the
that was a joke. Derek Ridquist, Demon Carcass. Like I grew up with him, and we used to get Stacks Records. He's all, dude, like, yeah, dude, we have an in with Roadside Records, and we would tell people, and we would and we have signing parties where we would drive like long things through the night. We'd be like, all right, if it was terrible, it's like, I mean, not terrible, but it's like we didn't like it or didn't think like we can give it to like a record person. We'd just be like,
we should make like,
that's Derek Whitquist is the one that started it. That was like 2007 or 8. We started that, and
we should make like a fake record label called that. We just like sign nobody.
The best, if you can rewind it, you could see Anthony's face because Anthony was still like, dude, is he gonna say Roadside Records?
I knew he was gonna fucking say it, dude. I had like a psychic premonition, dude. I was like, he's gonna fucking say it right now.
And then like, and then Casey zoomed in on fucking Devin, and I was like, oh shit, he's not gonna say it, dude.
Joel, we have a fucking connection, dude.
I know.
You said all my thoughts during that thing. That was crazy, dude.
Everybody's not the only band.
Well, I mean, yeah, the main thing that me and Derek like were like joking around with it in the very beginning was like we were joking around like because most people don't listen to them, so we're like, we were like, hey, we got a CD player, we got fucking a 8-hour drive, you know, we got 15 CDs this show. Let's listen to let's just start as like a fun when all the band's awake. We'll just do a thing where we're like, all right, signing party. And we'd like throw one in and be like, a lot of the times we're like dicks, just be like, it'd start and it's like, nope. We give it like 10 seconds to just be like, no, like super crude and rude, just like, nope. I know it's gonna sound like.
I have a few that stuck with me still. I still got
we sent some to Eric Lidmark. We gave some to Eric Lidmark that were like that was the plus side of us, like our karma for it was like trying to be like, all right, well, if you're good, we'll give it to fucking unique leader. Like we're not gonna like fuck around and be like no, you know, like listen to it just to fuck with people. We like wanted to listen to it and like, oh shit, there's some bands that were just like, holy shit, this is like a garage recording, but you guys are fucking great. like maybe give it to Eric and he can develop you, or somehow like give you like some sort of inspiration to keep this going or something. And there was yeah, it's like you're super famous.
And
You'll
that's
make like $5,000 a year, dude. If you
that's
if you make
all
it
you're
big.
trying to make happen, dude. As a guy who's giving your demo to a band, you gotta give it some time. And if you're just hoping it's enough for that person, you want that person to pass it up the ladder somehow and it get to somebody
Oh
that
yeah.
no,
I
like
want to.
Eric
I want
or
to find. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I look at it as like, oh man, this band's local to this area. Maybe next time we headline, we can get them to open.
Yeah,
Totally.
dude.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and I do listen, and I do give my feedback, and then another thing I do, man, is like I do features. Like I like if someone hits me up, I'm like sure, let me listen to it. Let me listen to what you got, and then I'll be like, cool, let's get me on a song then. I'm down.
I
That's
try and
sick,
do that
man.
with this show too, dude. If somebody
awesome.
sends
I
me
think that's-
something,
Yeah, cool.
like, hey, dude, I love the podcast. Here's my band. I try and listen to all that,
Oh
but
yeah.
dude, and I'm not doing some bragging shit, but scheduling's crazy now, dude. With
Oh, yeah.
this fucking show, dude. Like we're booked in like almost 3 months now, 2.5 months or some shit.
Badass.
It's crazy, dude. And I want to get the up and comers too, but it's like, how can we squeeze it? We got so much lined up.
Mhm.
It's kind of weird,
Well,
dude, to look that
we
far in
always-
advance.
We get people cancel and stuff. We have stuff that we can throw. We have like
Yeah.
Yeah.
we always try to get up and comers too, like Joseph.
And there are
Yeah,
some
Joseph does a good
up-and-comers in
job
there,
of
too.
bringing like
Yeah.
legit up and comers that we've
Yeah,
never
that
heard, like we
he's-
haven't heard of, and we're
we
like, whoa,
love having room for that. Like,
If you look
Yeah, yeah,
back,
yeah.
there's definitely several examples of us doing that, but I'm just saying, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's like being booked so far down the line, I'm actually starting to lose like focus.
what's
on
funny is that like we were like
certain
not
things.
booked that way at the verse of the year. We were kind of like, oh, we got to get some bookings, and then we just like all of a sudden it was just like, whoa, now we got.
It's like we had a bunch of different things.
That's weird.
Like people had asked us,
Unexpected.
or we had asked, and we're just like, all right, let's just get that all
Yeah.
combined into one. But
That's
fuck,
awesome.
I guess
love that.
what I'm trying to say with that
We're-
is, and
we're
I'm not trying to
grateful.
brag with we're definitely grateful. It's actually, I'm starting to sound negative when I'm talking, but what I'm saying is, we love that aspect of the show. We love being able to give like that same kind of thing, throwing it out there for people to be exposed to it. I like to do episodes like that for bands too, and since it's kind of booked out far in advance, I need to look over that again and see how much, because I just maybe feel like, when was the last time we did an episode more so like that? What was the last one? I'm just so murky right now with this, dude.
Anthony's
I mean, for me, this podcast is very selfish. It's for me, it's trying to find out cool new bands and then talk to like legends. That's all
Even if you guys are just talking to your boys, your friends and everything.
Well,
that
now
too.
I feel like you're one of our boys now.
Yeah,
after
dude.
tonight,
The Roadhead
dude.
Records things. There's a lot of things, and that's another thing. Like there'll be times where it's a band I've never heard of, and it's Joseph booked it, and it's like a new band, and I'll be like, kind of like, okay, I don't know anything about this band. I'm tired. I worked 9 hours today at work, and I got to go like jump on this podcast with this band I've never heard. And then it turns out to be like an awesome time. Like I'm like, fuck yeah, that guy's fucking rad, dude.
Kicked it, dude. Like, you want to go
Yeah.
tell somebody else about the guy? Like,
They just
look
like
at this
tell
guy,
my
I
life
met
story.
him.
They're like, dude, I started with fucking, like Korn, then I went to Slipknot, then Sepultura, and then Deicide. I'm sitting there going like, dude, me too. We did the same thing. And I'll like wake up like, oh shit, like that's yeah. And the Roadside Records thing is like, that is the funniest thing I've ever heard. That kind of spread a little bit. That's awesome.
I gotta look back. I rarely look back, but I want to see how early I caught on to where he was going with that. You said I reacted.
Oh no, you'll see it. Yeah, you'll see it. In the,
all right.
yeah.
But the fact that you guys have this podcast, man, you're doing a great thing. That's what's gonna make the music just grow and expand even more. And
Totally.
we're really out of time, especially the last like 3 or 4 years, death metal is just on an incline, and
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like it could very well be, you know, with all these bands that are like moving towards like being heavier and people like the youth and everything being exposed to it, like, you know, to give them credit where it's due, like Knocked Loose is like a heavy band, you know.
I was just thinking of Knock Loose and like Billie Eilish watching Knock Loose
Yeah.
on a Coachella stage. Like how big that they were playing like down the street from me in a little tiny hall a year before that. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, I saw them at a place called the Summit to only like 40 people,
Colorado.
and it was a really like small like hole in the wall bar, and to see where they're at now is insane. But like, you know, like, they're heavy, dude. Gojira is heavy, you know, like
they're humongous too. They deserve it.
Huge ass crowds, and I think, you know, it's sick to want it, and it's also not out of pocket to actually think that a death metal band could be on some kind of climb like that.
Mm-hmm.
If it is, then we need to do everything that we can to get it there. You know,
Right.
because you know, I mean, gatekeeping is like cool. You know,
to me, Gojira is like the closest band that
pretty good
has connected me, because I was like, oh, there was always
Morbid
like
Angel influences,
and then there was and there was always like other bands, and I was like, oh, it wasn't quite like my, like Meshuggah wasn't quite my, but I like it, but it not really. I don't know, Murray, and like, no, I respect the shit out of them. I'm just saying, like, I don't, but it's just, it wasn't the band where it's just like, oh, that's like Gojira, and there's so many bands like that Joel likes, and Sleep Token and all this stuff, and which is all like interesting stuff, and I want to give it an honest like chance. I just haven't had time. But
so
like,
you're alone on Sleep Token.
He's all about it. Yeah. But all I want to say before I shut up is that Gojira is like, there's something about that band that I just fucking love. Like, Gojira is like, the band. Like, I'm just like, oh, all these things everyone's saying, and all that. I'm just
it's
like
Caveman. It's
Gojira.
kind of like the same thing as your band,
but it's like calculated Caveman. There's
calculated
brilliance
Caveman
in there.
It like gives you this like energy rush where it's like, it's like
it hits you in the Caveman, but
like a technical perspective, it's not crazy, but like it gives you this you're like, whoa, you're like all of a sudden like the things go off, and you're just like, Jesus, like you have to do that, you know.
The main thing too is like, what did they do to get where they're at? Is it the whole like animal rights movement? Because I don't think it's that. I think
a lot of people don't even know about that.
So fucking good, and that it does, even though it has its parts. Like, dude, on that Brown record that they put out, like, was it or something?
The early one.
It had Carcass riffs like spread out all over it, and then listen to like the Link and everything. It's straight up Morbid Angel worship.
Totally.
And that, you know, and that's where they started. And what's another cool thing about them is it's been the same dudes.
Yeah, it's like the brothers, and then the bass player, and then the guitar player.
Yeah, it's
no lineup changes, huh?
Exactly. And
dude,
you can tell what they like, and they're still going to keep writing what they like, and it just gets bigger.
I'm going to be listening to a lot more Gojira. The beer's catching up to me. The Gojira is catching up to me. Dude.
From Mars to Sirius is that's the album. I'm just like, from Mars to Sirius, that album. I'm just like, that the heaviest matter in the universe.
That's the white or like cream colored record.
Yeah.
And what's the red one before it called again?
The Link is the one that's like gray and black, right?
I know. I'm so dumb with. I'm like, dude, your last one, your first. I never remember band like album names.
Let's let Devin talk. Say it again.
The Link is like the red one with the white letter.
The Link, yes.
Okay.
I think the first like biggest record, I can't remember the name of it. It's
and
the
then
one
there's
the silhouette of the face.
Terra. No,
and it's got
Terra Incognita or something.
Is that it?
Oh
think-
yeah, I think that might be it.
I
I
think
could
I
probably
might
look
have
this up
nailed
in
it,
2
guys.
seconds rather than just.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it. I think but yeah, I didn't know about that one until after I had stumbled across the link, and then from Mars, or whatever the fuck that one's called.
but yeah, man, like they're the closest thing to death metal, really, without calling themselves that. And I think really the only thing that differentiates is the atmospheric aspect and the vocals.
Mm-hmm.
But when they get in the grooves, dude.
And then he does hard vocals, and you're
Yeah,
oh,
I know.
so sick, dude.
Yeah,
Gross.
they're walking that fence, and you're
Mhm.
seeing the death metal yard that they could just jump right into.
They're build-ups. They
you could
build
just,
up into like.
yeah, you guys know what's up. And they're like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
they
dude.
do for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. So you were like in high school. So okay, so you're playing like.
Yeah.
No, let's get all right, because I mean the band is fairly new if we really think about it. You guys got together in 2019.
Yep.
So Limb Splitter, how you said 8 years on that? You guys stayed together?
Yeah. I mean, I was in Limb Splitter at the same time as I was in Sanguisugabogg. You know,
Okay.
I left the band a year ago just because of just there's a lot of dumb like inner conflicts. You know, like
Yeah.
they were mad that I was getting way busier, and you know, at the same time I was still making time for them. But I was like, you know, I'm not the type of dude to put all my eggs in one basket, but definitely Sanguisugabogg is top of the priority list, and you know, and if they didn't like that, then I needed to take a hike. So I did. You know,
that makes sense, dude. I mean, I mean, if you want a long-lasting, like actual quote-unquote career in this shit, you gotta. When you do the not all the eggs in one basket, you're doing that in a sense of you're taking smaller bets on other things, and one of those was a fucking blackjack, dude, you know?
Exactly.
And so you're gonna roll with that one you hit the blackjack on, and see how big that snowball can get, you know, and start feeding that. I mean, I totally get it as an artist. If you're a performer / artist that creates something with a bunch of different people, and then there's a sculpture that looks better than all the other sculptures, and people start to pay attention to I really like that sculpture. When are you guys going to do another one? All those dudes are going to get back together and say, all right, we're going to make the dick bigger. We're going to, you know, we're going to, you know what I'm saying? We're going to make the sculpture we're trying to make the sculpture in that fashion, but make it better. And then that one gets attention. My long metaphor on this really isn't going anywhere other than you get what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's art collectives that you've set up for yourself, and this collective is producing quality art that a lot of people are digging right now, you know?
Yeah, I mean it's all for the same reason. You know, I hop into everything because of passion. And you know, I do, you know, I stretch myself thin because that's just the productive like side of me. You know, I'm in a bunch of bands. You know, I have Sanguisugabogg, which you know we're touring a lot this year. We ended up having to like pull back on a tour at the end of the year because if we would have took it, we would have only been home for 6 weeks throughout the entire year.
Jesus. Damn.
Yeah. And I just got so much on my plate, and I have a couple other active bands, and you know I also have a band that I'm doing with Jeremy Wagner, Broken Hope, and
oh fuck yeah,
and Mitch Harris from Napalm Death, and I'm about to start doing things with that, and so, but yeah, I mean, all in all, it's just you know just like we all talked about, is like you know really quick when music and playing, and it's not just like a phase that you go through. It's eventually it takes your entire life, and it's
Right.
that's me. I'm a lifer, you know.
How's the members of Sanguisugabogg? Did I say it right? You know,
Yep.
by the
it
way,
does.
real quick, before I jump into this, I went to go pee because I had to go pee really bad. I have a big Alexa speaker. I was all, I don't want to say it right now. I was all like, A word, play Sanguisugabogg. And it's all right, playing. It started playing. And so I was like, I said it correct where the Alexa speaker was like, hey, you said it correct. It started playing like your guys' music.
And I saw in
And I
the
was all,
chat
yeah,
earlier.
while I was peeing. I was like, fuck yeah. And then I was like, stop, because I have to leave in a second.
I saw a chat in the chat earlier. We forgot to ask you in the beginning, so everybody who's been waiting this whole episode. I think I remember. I did enough research
that one?
to hear the definition. Yeah, that's not the first time that's been asked
Oh,
in
it's
the
happened in my
chat.
chat now.
We're addressing it now, though. Thanks, Ian, for reminding me. What does the name mean? I think I know, but I want to hear.
No, I want to
Devin
hear
say
you
it.
first. I want to hear Anthony. You first.
Okay, so this is how much dive I did on it. And Devin, I've found some bullshit. That's sanguisuga means leech, right? In Latin.
Mhm.
And then Bog is one of the founding members' last name.
Yep.
And I forget where that comes from, but in that it means toilet or
So
yeah, am I right?
okay, so you are partially right.
Okay.
It's not leech toilet.
It, technically not. You know, the way I explain it is it has a bunch of different meanings, but
Hmm.
Cameron, you know, themselves told me the meaning of it, and it's so the story goes, Cameron had this persona when they played in a black metal band called Navium. Their name was Sanguisugaboggs, and dropped the S and ran with it with the band name because it was just so like unpronounceable, so crazy and far out of left field that we all thought it was cool.
I would more
And
accept it. I mean, not accept it, but expect it in the black metal, like underground, like a band
yeah,
called Sanguisugabogg. That sounds way more black metal to me.
all for sure.
Yeah.
And why Cameron used it as like a black metal persona was because Sanguisuga is Latin for leech or a blood or just literally blood sucker.
Yeah.
And then bog without the S is an older Slavic term for a divine being or a god.
Okay, so that's where
Oh damn, you can go a
and
lot of
I
avenues with
didn't
this.
try to
Shit.
make it humorous, but that's what I found on Google. I was finding trying to find the definition, you
Yeah.
know, and that's what Google gave me.
So it translates to like a god that sucks
Sucks
blood.
the sick, dude. That sounds way cooler now.
Do you guys ever think about like naming your band like Jeff Bezos instead or something? Or
That's basically yeah.
okay.
Jeff Bezos is a Sanguisugabogg, dude.
He's a Sanguisugabogg, dude.
Sucking all the life force out of all of us with
No, that's the first person I could
2-day
think of.
shipping.
It's not the funniest one I could come up with. But yeah, it's cool to like. So who was that? Were you in the room when that was pitched? That name?
So
The black metal band already had it. And
I
then,
mean,
Oh,
kind
that's
of
right.
like some of the stuff was already like demoed out, and I got to listen to it like firsthand. I was one of the first people to check it out because like you know I was in a few bands. I was booking shows around town, so you know Cameron knew I was like the death metal guy and wanted me to check it out and see if I could fit it somewhere, you know, as far as like booking shows and whatnot. And I was just like, look, dude, this is sick. Like, what do you what's your idea about this? You know, like what are you going for?
What's your
And
goal? Yeah.
yeah, and like, you know, Cameron told me that they wanted to do like a 2-piece with a pitch shifter. They wanted to dress up as frogs, like a bunch of stuff. And I put it, you know, I put it in his ear, and I was like, hey, like, if you don't like that idea and you want a front man, like, I will make time for this. I really like it.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. I mean, recorded. We did the EP in one day, and I didn't have any lyrics. Like Cameron told me, like, oh yeah, there's lyrics. So he's like, I'll go through them with you, and I'm like, all right, cool. Find out there's nothing, and then but stuff here and there, and I had to kind of piece it together for like one song.
Yeah.
But most of it was like, I like doing this, but off the top of the dome, like freestyle.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, the EP.
So when you listen to it, do you remember certain lines and giggle to yourself because nobody else knows what you said except for you?
Yeah, there's one in Turkish Blood Orgy. I think it's like track 2 off the EP. I say, bathe in her cheeks. I don't know, you know. I
Which
don't.
actually,
I like
back it, dude.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean,
Taking a bath in her.
if you're bathing in her cheeks, she's bathing too. So it's not like you're rummaging around in a dumpster or anything like that.
So I remember actually, so we were, you know, a bunch of my friends watching you guys at PsychoFest, and you gave a speech, and that whole performance sticks with me. That was a very interesting performance because I was like, who's this band? Like, you know, I was there for a few other bands and stuff, and was like, you know, like Merciful Fate was playing and stuff like that, and I was like, of course I'm gonna, you know, go see these band. And it's like, and my roommate was playing. His band played Worship, played the very beginning of the festival, but like you said, you gave this speech about how much you've been touring. I remember like I was drunk, like with like listening with me and Chris Beatty were sitting there, and we're like listening to how much you've been touring, and it was like so extreme. Like how many shows you were saying. Like I was like, what the fuck? Like it was bananas. Like the story you were telling, it was absolutely bananas. Of how so. Is that kind of been like just your guys' is kind of like, I mean, speaking of another band back in the day, Animosity, same kind of thing.
Always
They
on
were
tour.
They were one of those bands that was just like, we just hit the road constantly. That's all we do. We just hit the road, and it's one of those bands that exploded because of that. It was kind of, you know, they got the opportunity and then they went and did it. So talk about like your guys' touring schedule, like at least along that year.
Oh yeah. So when when this band started taking off, and the first ever tour we did, like I booked all the shows, and I saw the potential that we had, like from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in our hometown, like we would announce a show, and then all of a sudden, like people are there, like hundreds and hundreds of people. I mean, we had to like turn people away. I was like, this is so sick, man. Like I'm willing to do, you know, whatever it takes. And you know, Cameron was lucky because I didn't even know until after they left the band, but Cameron didn't have to work a day in their life. Like they had a parent that was a millionaire, so he was a trust punk. And
Trust punk.
yeah. But you know, me on the other hand, like Cody lived with his mom, and our bass player was a gardener. So, and you know, but me, like I was doing construction. Like I did concrete sealant, like epoxy and stuff. I would do like pool decks, and I would work my like dick in the dirt, get all the hours that I can within a few weeks, and then tell tell my foreman like, hey, I'm gonna take a couple days off and do this or do that. And when we started touring, I was just like, man, this is so much fun. This is everything I've wanted. I'll curate to whatever I can to make sure that I can keep doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And we toured like 3 times, you know, from late 2019 up until like lockdowns and everything started early 2020. I missed it so much, and like we didn't know, you know, we didn't know what was in store. Like if you know, when we first heard about COVID, it's like, oh, it'll be over in a couple weeks. Oh,
Yeah.
months of this, and then whatever. You know, back then it was just bat memes. You know, so
Yeah.
and I missed it, man. So when we got the opportunity to tour, we rarely said no. You know, we made sure that we were like, this was so easily taken away from us that we're gonna do this until the wheels fall off, until we can't do it anymore.
I
And
think that there's a few examples of that, dude. Quite a few, really, where either people were starting to gain speed right before the pandemic hit, and then
yeah,
they're left in this purgatory realm for a while until they can pull themselves out of it. As soon as and they see the light at the end of the tunnel finally, like
Yeah,
shows
like February 2020, they're like, "Fuck you, boss! I'm gonna go fucking do." And then all of a sudden, like, yeah, I've heard a lot of those stories. So
right, and then it all crumbles, and then they're just waiting for that opportunity. And as soon as it arises, you take that, and everybody hit the ground running after.
oh yeah,
You know, and I love that. I you could probably see an episode or two during the pandemic where I had said there's going to be some great art and shit that's going to come out of this because everybody's going to have more time at home to curate that art. Plus,
and
they're
be
going to
more
be
pissed that like they need to
yeah,
get it out.
exactly, dude.
Yeah.
And I think that you guys are definitely one of those examples that I think that people were waiting for new, and like I was saying in the beginning with the nostalgia in there, you guys, the way you guys chose to produce those records, it truly does kind of give it a little more vintage feel, you know what I'm saying?
yeah. I mean, it was all tracked in our practice spot. So
And so that's actually where I wanted to ask this question earlier was, so all that stuff, you guys write it together in one room?
yeah,
Yeah, dude, I feel that that's in there, dude. I truly
There's a video
feel
of you
that.
guys on YouTube or something. It's like a live tracked album or a song or something,
Mhm.
like all
that,
live tracked.
that's where we do our drums. It's not even there anymore. It was called Encore Studios out in Dayton, Ohio, and yeah, we did that was like our debut of like our new lineup after COVID. Like this is who we are now, and
Yeah.
yeah, everything was live, like off the cut, and it was yeah, it was cool, man. It was like from there on, it was like there was an expectation of like what's the follow up record gonna sound like, and you know we dropped our second full length last year, Homicidal Ecstasy, and
Mhm.
yeah, and it's probably out of anything I've ever like been a part of, man. It's my most proudest I've ever been
Hell yeah.
of a record, and we didn't even have like I like to think that we had like plenty of time to curate it, but in the grand scheme of things, like with our touring schedule and everything, like we really didn't, and we wrote a lot of those songs like on the road with like mini like Boss like combo amps and stuff,
Yeah.
Boss Katana amps, and you know we would tap like drum patterns like on a practice pad, and then,
Yep.
this is how I'm gonna play drums to it. This riff goes here, and then we would go home from tour and be like, okay, let's demo this out. And
So do you think that the reason why you're so proud of it is because you know that it started the stems of those songs started like that, and then you hear it in its final form and you just are proud of bringing it from those seeds to that thing?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm proud that we were able to write it together, and it's also like a homage of like everything that we like, and everyone in the band had a hand in it, and some kind of way. It wasn't just a one man show with any song, and that's what was sick. And I got to, because when Cameron was in the band, Cameron like really limited my artistic vision. Like there were songs where and certain topics like I wanted to like bring out like with the band, and they would just shut it down like any chance they got. So with this, it was like as a kind of like a fuck you, like I'm gonna write whatever the fuck I want. And I got to do just that with this record, and it made every song like feel way more personable and real.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I love it so much. I mean, it's still, I haven't listened to it maybe in a few months, but every time I do like go back and revisit it, I'm like, man, we did something really fucking cool, especially for that year. Like that same year, like Dying Fetus drops a record, Cannibal Corpse drops a record,
Right.
and Suffocation drops a record that November of that year, and it's like, is this going to be so quick to just kind of like sweep under? And I'm like, nah, man. It kind of, even because I'm so picky about shit. I never like my own stuff, but
None of us. I mean, we always are gonna nitpick our shit, dude. But how you're explaining this to me, that's all we would really want, dude.
Exactly.
Is to look at something that we put out months later and still have that feeling of
the whole
dude, we did it. We did something with this one, Yeah.
And I think
we're
it's
chasing it.
I think it's definitely a good building ground for what the next record's going to be. And I'm geeked, man. Like we're talking about it. We'll see, if an offer comes like on our table that we obviously can't refuse, but we are going to make it like prioritize like time off so we could spend more time together and write the record. In Ohio, we're very lucky to have like a lot of like hiking grounds and like state parks and like log cabins. We put aside some money to rent out a cabin like early next year and write a record together in a cabin.
Nice.
That's smart. That's
Make
an
a
old
fucking
rush move.
vacation, get relaxed and just
Yep.
chill out together, get zen as you possibly can, and make a fucking 69 porno record.
There is a question though that I've failed to ask until now, but it was the very first thing, when I was told by like Chris B, like, be here this time and we got to see this band, blah, blah, come meet us, blah, blah. And I went up there. So I noticed, the bass amps are just cabinets and no guitars, or no bass guitars, only guitars. And one, I was curious to know do you know how they run? How do they put their guitar directly into a bass cab and like an A/B switch that goes into a guitar cab too, or do they? That was like the main thing when I first saw it. I'm like, I think they're A/Bing into a bass cab and a guitar cab, and I was like, I've never seen that done, and it's like got a nasty sound, and I've never heard that before. And I'm like, why hasn't anyone done this before? That was the first two thoughts I had. But that's basically the first thing, because I'm like a gear dork. Was like looking, I'm like, are they playing through guitar and bass gear at the same time?
Yeah. So that's exactly what we're doing. Like it, when the guitars are playing, the bass is playing too through the bass cab. So we have a bass cab and a bass head, on both sides. We use an ABY switch on both guitars through the bass rigs as well. And then when we flip it to just bass, we also have a pitchfork pitch shifter, which also pitch shifts the guitar tone. So the bass tone's really fucking fat. And the reason why we do it is because, you know, when Cedric joined the band, they were playing bass, and when Cameron left, it only made sense to move Ced to guitar for us because Ced already was familiar with the material, and we brought in Drew as a bass player, but we knew Drew wouldn't feel as fulfilled as just playing bass because he's primarily a guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
So on our second tour, but our first supporting tour, we toured with Nile and Incantation. That's when we brought out the guitars and bass rigs like on both sides of the stage.
Damn.
and give it a swing and see if we liked it. And the tone that came out of it was just so cool. It's just so
nasty.
Just like a punch to the gut.
Yeah.
And we decided to like run with it and like make it like our signature thing. You know, I mean, there's been bands that have done stuff like sort of to that degree, like Agoraphobic Nosebleed and
Yeah.
Pig Destroyer,
Totally.
but not with two guitars. And I think like doing it with two guitars makes it sound way more fuller,
I agree.
where you can get away with it.
Yeah.
And you know, we even did the same thing on our record. We tracked it exactly like we would have lived. So
That's awesome, man.
That's
It was almost like like when I first saw it, I was like, this is a shtick. You know, this is like a little move they're doing or something. And like I was listening to the songs and I was like, fuck, this actually works really well. And because I've never seen that before, like in a live presence, especially at fucking Psycho Fest with, you know, all these people there. And I was like, damn, there's a band that's like using their guitars and they're running through a guitar amp and a bass amp at the same time. And it had this like nasty, it was just, that's gross, ignorant, nasty. Those are all the things that come to mind.
It's
just
punk
like,
and it's
like,
grind.
yeah. It's like
injected into brutal death metal.
yeah. I was like completely like, that's not gonna work. And then, well, it's working amazingly. And like me and like Chris still are, but like I said in the beginning of the episode, like our faces were like, what the fuck? That was nasty, dude. That's just a gross, nasty band, dude. Like that's, you know, and I understand why. And you guys are fully deserved of everything I've seen. You guys, like, you know, you guys got signed into Century Media, right? Or some, yeah. You got, I mean, fucking fully deserved, man. It's just, you guys came up with your own angle on something. You guys weren't just doing, we're gonna do the same band stuff, but like a little different our style. It's like, no, you did it completely your style, like with the old school death metal in it, but it's still like the sound and the presentation is completely you guys. And that's why I was like, that's why you're
even the logo. I can't even. That's like,
yeah, I love the logo.
I love it how anti death metal logo it is, because it's saying, it's just a parody on how you can't read death metal logos. You're like,
I love how it melts down and just it's so like, yeah, we're trying now, we're giving up.
Yeah, that was something that, you know, we talked about early on. Like it needed to be an eyesore, you know.
Yeah.
And then thanks, man. You know, like I never really thought about it like that, like as being like its own thing or unique. You know, we just went with it because we just wanted to make, you know, our guitar players happy. And it's been sick. I like that it's like a staple of our sound, and I like that we tune really low. Like our latest record, like half the songs are in drop G, and then the other songs are in F standard. So I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, we try to. It's not like we try to push the envelope. We're just ignorant, you know, when it comes to like our approach of like writing music and everything. And it's been
It sucks. I hate the word ignorant that comes up, because for me it was such a like it's the first time in my life that me and Chris Beatty, like one of my favorite guitar players, we were like, ignorant was like a fucking, that was like a compliment, because it was ignorant in a way, because we all like death metal. We like, you know, like a style of music that can be perceived as ignorant no matter what, it's technical or not technical or not.
for sure.
But that style, we walk like ignorant, we were saying it as like a fucking chef's kiss. Like we were going like, that was fucking ignorant. That was sick as fuck, dude. That like got me like fucking caveman. Like it got this feeling out of me that I haven't had in a long time, of just like the monkey brain. It was got my monkey brain going. It wasn't getting like my so what riffs are they playing? What's going on here? What's going, you know, it's like it got like it just my mammal brain just got fucking, you know, attacked. Yeah, exactly. It was perfect. I was like, I actually, I would say that like you guys are probably like my favorite band of Psychofest.
Oh, sick, man. Fuck yeah.
Like, honestly,
Hell
like
yeah.
like Uada played, Merciful Fate played, all these bands, but like there was something like really cool about like meeting my buddies up in like 11 a.m. and going up to that one room up in whatever was at the Resorts Hotel, the new hotel in Vegas.
Yep.
And just going up to like super nice place, like getting up there and just like walking up and grabbing a tall can and just going up there and just like in the morning and just being like, oh, this is fucking amazing. This is like something I'll never forget. It's in it, and it's on my, I have a on my Instagram story, like I have you guys a bunch on that little trip, because I did like a little compilation reel thing just to like get all the videos out as one video and not like share a bunch of videos, you know. And that was the best introduction to that show. I was like, here we go, here's Psychofest again.
Yeah, we were worried because like, you know, we hear you're like, oh yeah, you're gonna play at 11 a.m. and I'm like, oh sick.
That's right. Yep.
Everyone's all hungover and not wanting to get out of bed, and we started loading our shit and from a bellhop cart,
Mm-hmm.
and we're walking past these lines and we're like, holy shit, there's like,
the line was insane to get in. It was insane.
There's a ton of people, and like people were telling us like, yo, we're stoked to see you, and we're like, for real, you know, like, all right, you know. And then as we get on, we just see the room just grow more and more in attendance. And when I see shit like that, man, I eat it up, man. It makes me, you know, depending on the size of the room, if it's filled, I feel like I'm like Pantera in Moscow, like Monsters of Rock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
domination or something.
Jump up and down, you know. So
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
dude. And I think that what we were talking about earlier, the artist wanting to get out of the pandemic and do shit, the audience member wanted to get out of the pandemic and do shit too.
Yeah,
you know.
exploded.
And I think that that's still like that energy's still alive. It like we got the recharge of a battery that now everybody, when they go to a live thing, it doesn't matter if it's music or not, everybody's putting, they really want to be there, you know.
of course,
It's like, oh shit, we're doing something out live again, we're watching a performer, we're watching art, we're watching music, watching a film. Like going to the theater, actually, even though there was a couple times during the pandemic I had some friends that it was actually cheap as shit to rent a small theater out to watch a list. They give you a list of movies. It's like $90 for the theater for one movie.
sick.
You know, you could have that situation during the pandemic or whatever, but just getting back out and going to the movies, just getting out and doing things, you know. And I know we're past that. Why, I don't know why we keep going back to, I guess it was just a theme that we were having tonight, talking about what we were doing. I guess that's always going to be a conversation.
Oh, Devin's
now.
all
So-
like, sick, dude. I am in East Coast time.
all right, I know. We had to.
You're cool. You're cool.
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay. I look at people's faces. You know this. I look at people's faces, and be like, oh, dude, they're tired. Dude, we should wrap it up.
No.
Yeah,
Let's do 20 more minutes. 20 more minutes.
I'm
Let's
well
do 20
rested.
more minutes. All right, go ahead.
But yeah, it's I think it goes both ways. We all just want to get out and interact, and we're gonna put more effort. Like going out and to see Cannibal and Gore Guts at the Warfield for me was a big thing. I put all into that. I didn't go and pit or anything, but I was.
You have like 9 kids, so
I was-
for you to get away from that.
It was 12 earlier. Where'd I lose? Where'd the other 3 go, dude?
It goes down and down.
Oh wait, no, I think you said 17 actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What was it?
Cannibal, Gore Guts, Blood and Cannibal.
Yeah, dude.
I got to see it with my fiance in Kentucky. Like when our last headliner, we played in Nashville, and that's where Rob Barrett lives now. And dude, me and Cody, our drummer, like hung out with him for like 6 hours after our set.
That's
And
awesome.
that dude hangs, and
Yeah.
he's so cool. And he told, like, we were arm wrestling, and he was like, if you beat me, he's like, I'll guest list you on our Mayhem tour, whatever show you want. And I was like, okay.
You're all like with your huge biceps, like, fine.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll do-
Take you up on that.
It's fucking arm wrestling Popeye over here, dude.
I ended up Facebook messaging him like 2 days before the show. He was like, yeah, man, I got you. And I was like, sick. We made the trek over there, which is like 3 hours, but well worth it, man. Great show. Oh, look at that. That's Dave Colross's son.
Yeah. He's the man, dude. We're trying to
He's
get
a
an
homie.
episode together, and I don't care if
I haven't hit him up in a while, but now he's in here.
But
He's listening to us talk about
him and his
right now,
dad.
dude.
We're gonna have him and his dad come on together because
Yeah,
I think that'd be
so
sick. That's
Love
like
to have
so
that
cool.
father-son episode, dude. That would be a cool one.
Yeah,
That's
for
great.
sure.
That's sick, man. If there's anything, if there's any area of death metal that I love, man, it's the shit from the Northeast.
Mhm.
So, and that's something I got to like put in his ear like the last time I saw him, and yeah, man, he's really cool. I was just like, dude, to just be talking to you, me being such a huge fan of your dad's, like I told you guys, like Dave Colross is like him and Pete Sandoval,
Yeah.
my favorite drummers in the entire genre, and the shit that Dave would do playing Mike Smith stuff, but add his like flares and everything there, like so sick.
If you would jump in a time machine right now and take me back to me being a teenager listening to Malevolent or Bleeding Profusely
Or Hate Plow.
or Despise the
Hate Plow.
Sun or Hate Plow, all these fantastic examples of how talented that dude is, and then fast forward go back and tell me, oh dude, you're gonna be doing this thing called a podcast, and his son's gonna be in the
podcast,
chat right now. and it would be totally weird, dude. It'd be fucking weird as shit. I would look at me like a crazy person.
You need to have Ian tell some stories, dude, about your dad, Cole Ross Jr.
Yeah,
cool.
I think about that all the time, man. I'm like, I'm still that kid that just geeked out about death metal and the musicians, and be like, man, they were able to do this with that band and on this record, and just think that they were the coolest people ever. And
That's
and
one aspect that's really important, dude.
Oh yeah, and I'm still that way. To if you were to go back in time and tell me like, yo, like these are bands that you are gonna tour with. These are bands that are gonna like think you're the shit. Like when the last day of our European tour, like I got every morning, dude. Terrence would check in on me and be like, "You good, man?" He's like, "You need anything? You need a drink? You need a beer?" Like, Terrence, it's 8 a.m. I need a coffee. But dude, like he was so fucking cool. And at the last day of tour, like, he's like, yo, I want to propose a toast. He was like, I just want to say this Europe tour was a Sanguisugabogg tour. Like, we got the numbers, we got, the clicks from like when people got to the venue to how long they stayed, the merch numbers and all that. And he was like, we're thankful that you guys said yes to this. Dude, it brought tears to my eyes. I was like, no,
Hey, dude.
Awesome, dude.
Fuck.
It's like
Perfect, dude.
your old man saying like, yo, you did it. And I'm like,
Yeah, dude.
Do you want to know when I thought I had a problem with drinking? Was when Terrence came up to me. I think I had not been touring for 3 or 4 years or something, and Terrence came up to me and he's like, "Come out, hang out, let's party, blah blah."
yeah.
And I just moved to Sacramento at the time in like 2012 or something, and he was like, "Dude, you were the craziest fucking party you've ever been." And I was like, sick, dude, you've been touring for like 90 years and I'm the craziest, so maybe I should pump the brakes on my life. But just but yeah, no, those guys for Terrence, like we ran into him kind of recently, and like, dude, is fucking the same guy from 12 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I did 3 or 4 tours with him, and he was always the most. He's a hype man, and he is the man at the same time. Like he is the guy at the same time, but he's also the hype man for everyone's like happiness on tour. He's always like, "What's up, dude? How's it going?" Blah blah. He's always like hooking you up or like, "Come on, let's go fucking hang out," and blah blah. And you're just like, "What the fuck?" Like your brain, like so many, like probably like 200 times knowing that guy or hanging out with that guy, where it's like, Terrence is inviting me to go do this thing or go hang out with him. Yeah, I'm like, dude.
I'll put it this way. Whatever he wanted me to do,
yeah,
I did not say no. So
I mean, not sexual though, not sexual, right?
I tried.
I mean, if he asked me, I might have to, for death metal, I gotta do it. But
one of the first things I said to him, I was like, you need a bodyguard, bro? I'll die for you,
dude.
And what's cool is like, even if I was like, I needed sleep, like he sent like 2 dudes from the opening band to come up to my bunk and be like, Devin. I was like, what's up? They're like, Terrence wants you to come down in the loft, and like he wants to hang out. And I'm like, let me get a shirt on. I was like, I'm down.
Yeah. It's like I'm tired, but whatever. I'll figure it out.
And I think that the percentage in our little scene or whatever is higher for some real friendships and relationships to happen on tour. I think that outside in other genres of music, maybe that doesn't happen as much. I want to feel that. I think the reason why this thing keeps moving and evolving is because it's some real shit. You know?
Man. It's your own clique, dude. Like,
yeah,
I feel like everyone gets into the music, for the same reason, dude. Like it's aggressive, and we have these feelings where we need to let like that sort of thing out of us, and we all make the same face when we hear a fucking riff. It's like smell a piece of shit. You're just like, and
yeah.
We're all in it, especially when you're on tour and you're doing the road together, and it's there's a certain kind of bond that's just unspeakable, man. You can't put a finger on it. And I never expected that a band that I grew up just idolizing, I never thought would also be like some of my best fucking friends. And Charlie, their guitar player, he was like, yo, I saw you post something about like, this is one for the scrapbook or one for the memory book. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'll never forget this story, and he was like, that's what it's all about, man. He was like, I want to make sure you have these memories. And
whatever money you got from it's gonna come and go, dude. But those memories are gonna be with you for.
But the only thing is, I have an argument against that, because I've partied so hard with so many people that I don't have any memories
What's
that
your
I
argument
remember.
then? Your argument's against yourself then, asshole. You erase those memories with chemicals.
What?
Oh, because Terrence said I had to drink the bottle, and I drank the bottle. But no, I mean it's a lot of so many memories that I'm like I've had people like remember like when I was touring more regularly, people would be like, "What's up, Joel?" Remember me? And I didn't want to be rude because I remember me being a kid and going up to people and like talking to them and be like, I'm like waffling on it, and I'd be like, "Shit, well, I'm annoying now," and I'll be like all embarrassed and stuff. So I'm like, "Yeah, totally, dude. What's up, dude?" They're like, "Joel, remember me?" I'm like, "Yeah, the dude was the best word ever." Like, "Yeah, dude."
Yeah,
Dude,
dude.
I
You're the
remember,
dude.
yeah, fuck yeah, dude. I remember that
Yeah,
time. It's
fuck
like,
it,
dude, we went to the
dude.
bar and like you got all
Dude.
fucked up, and then like blah blah, and then went back to my house. I'm like, I have no idea. Like, you might be making this up. You could just
Right.
tell me whatever story you're telling me right now. And I'm just like, oh fuck yeah, yeah, that was
I've been
insane.
pretty good at remembering faces.
Yeah, yeah.
But then you'll meet somebody that like looks like a dude that you thought you knew. Because I'll even come up to be like, dude, you were at this show, right? And they're like, I've never seen you guys before. And I'm like, well,
Oops.
got a twin out there, or
You got a doppelganger.
right, like God forbid, if I do remember a name and I say it and I'm like question mark and they're like, yeah, that's me. I'm like, holy shit, you remember me? And I'm like, yeah, man. And I was like, for some reason you're locked in here, dude. I think it has to do with ADD, like
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm terrible. I have terrible ADD.
your long-term memory, like somehow you're able to like put it in there, but your short-term is like hit or miss. So, you know, if I talk to people online, somehow like I'll draw it and be like, yo, you're this guy, and be like, yeah. So, but no, yeah, like if you can't remember it, hopefully you did something embarrassing enough that someone took a video of it, and then if you can't remember, you can at least relive it because that happened a lot on this last one. But
That's the thing though. It's like if someone like I'm getting to that age, I'm almost 40. I'm turning 40 in a few like 5 months. 5 months. Jesus.
Quit counting down, dude.
I know. I'm July 27th is 29th.
You got
it's
an
only
extra day this year, dude. Leap year.
But I'm just looking at just short-term memory has always been a thing, and long-term memory has been fine. I mean, not fine, but like I don't know. There's memory has always been a thing with me. So for me now, I don't really know what happened. So I have, even if I have a memory of it, I'll have like 9 people going like, no, that's not what happened. It's not. And so, and I'm like, shit. So like people will be like, dude, you did this and that. And I'm like, sorry. I don't know. I won't say no, it didn't happen now. I'm just kind of like, cause I've been proven wrong so many times where I'm like, no, 100% that didn't happen. And they're like, no, dude, you're just like, oh, here, I found the video. You did that. I'm like, shit.
Memory's weird enough to where if you teach yourself a certain narrative, your memory is just the memory of the last time you told the story. So if you change the story,
that's how you're gonna remember.
That could actually be rewritten into the story the next time you tell the story, and you'll start to actually believe the shit that you've added.
I just do yeah maybe. I don't do like a believe. I do a yeah maybe. I do
what were you saying, Devin?
Yeah, Devin, go for it.
Basically gaslighting yourself and yourself.
It is, dude.
Not only do the voices you hear real, but they're telling you the truth.
Fuck, dude.
I like that.
That's a good fucking song. Like I don't know, like it's like the voices telling you, like, yeah, maybe, no, maybe, no, like convincing someone that they like through manipulation that they did something they didn't do. Just like, fuck, dude, maybe I did that. I don't know.
Well, it's no different than comedy, just changing the story a little bit to make it sound cooler and better for the person that's listening to it too.
Yeah, so, exactly.
You could end up being a Bert Kreischer where you end up telling the story and fucking believe it, and your own wife's like, that never fucking happened.
I wonder if he told the machine story on a polygraph test, like, because he did. Oh, like he believes the way he told it.
That's how it happened?
For it to be true like that.
Yeah, I don't.
He is way too popular for compared to the other fucking comics that are like murderers. Like He is way too popular. Like he's not. He's the Dane Cook of our era, as far as like the blip kind of. He is not
it's a
that funny
bigger
as a
blip,
comedian.
but-
He's probably one of the worst comedians out. He's
There's
funny
a lot
on
of
podcasts.
there's a lot of people that deserve where they're at right now, man.
Oh, dude, totally.
You know, dude. It's cool that you guys are big like comic heads too, because
Totally.
in April, like right before I leave for tour, I'm seeing Ari Shafir.
Hell yeah,
Oh, I just
dude.
saw him about 3 or 4 months ago at the Improv. It was fucking.
Oh,
amazing.
really?
Yeah.
Jew is brilliant, dude.
Oh, Jew's one of my favorite fucking.
It literally is. It's the quickest 90 minutes I've ever sat through a comedy.
I showed it to my
podcast, or
parents.
a stand-up special. Excuse me.
Me and Anthony are seeing Shane Gillis in about 2 weeks.
Yeah,
We're seeing Shane Gillis. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
dude. We like to giggle, dude.
A buddy of mine. He just did his Netflix. He just filmed a Netflix special, and
Oh shit.
he's on a big come up. Ian Fidance.
Oh no shit, dude.
Dude, what the
Ian
fuck?
is amazing, bro.
He's great.
He's your homie.
Oh yeah.
What?
Holy shit.
Okay,
I know exactly that
honestly,
guy.
No doubt, love every.
He's like a
time
fat
I've-
Ari.
No, he's definitely not.
I mean, the way he looks. Sorry.
No, he is not, dude. He's fit, dude.
He's pretty fit. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's all
I think you're
tatted
thinking
up.
of a different dude, dude.
Let me look him up.
Yeah.
Ian
Ian-
Fidance?
Or
and
Stav.
Stav is amazing as well.
No, it's a fat Ari. I just looked it up.
Ian Fidance.
Hold on.
He lifts weights.
I mean, not because of the you know the.
He does have
I think leading with the word fat.
the Ari hairline, kind of.
I think leading with the word fat.
Well, no,
is
the
wrong,
fat was
dude,
probably what threw you guys off.
Yeah.
Here it
'cause
is.
he's
Right
not
here.
fat.
That's
He's wearing
him.
a hoodie right there. But if you that
Is that not a
microdosing,
fat
click
Ari
the microdose.
looking-
Click the microdose one. That's actually hilarious. I sent
not
that to you.
Oh, you did, didn't you?
It's
On
crazy.
TikTok. I have to log into.
Are we really not doing?
I'm just saying. I
I
just
can't
want.
do.
If you can't pull that, I was just saying pull it up so you could see that he's definitely not fat, but he's hilarious.
But he looks.
dude.
He's a thick Ari. A thick, not
Thick.
fat. Sorry.
We'll go
He's
there.
done.
I'm fat Joel. So
stand up
I
on the
just when people are
spot.
thicker than not thin, then they call it fat.
His Jeremiah Watkins stand up on the spot is hilarious, dude. Where they just throw topics at him and
I
he's just
love that
rapid
shit.
fire
Yeah.
about it, dude.
His
His Kill Tony spots are all great.
yeah.
Dr. Phil, man, the Adam Ray Dr. Phil is
So good, dude.
crushing right now. Like
I love it.
Dude.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Oh man.
Because when Ray like started it, it really wasn't that funny.
Yeah.
But now it's like.
Oh, he's cutting out.
They do explain where I got really heavy.
Dude,
Did a little
you're
bit of
cutting out. Can you hear me?
Devin, you're cutting out. You're cutting out.
Trying to wait for you to come back, but it never happened, dude. It's the classic Cali Death frozen face, dude. I mean, we're creeping on 3 hours right now, but are we losing him?
Shit,
for
I have
good?
to.
Oh no, he's
There
back.
he is. There he is. He's back. He's back. I have to piss like so bad, but
Go
I'll
for it, go
watch
for
it
it.
later. So please say it again because you were frozen the whole time.
No, I did open mics and would do stand up here and there.
No shit, dude. How long? So when did that come along? What age did you start doing that?
Oh shit. From 22 to how old was I in 2018? From 22 to 25. I was doing it.
Okay. So what is it? Music that kind of pulled you away from that? Or you still write jokes?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just kind of came hand in hand with banter.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like in between songs, I would do bits and jokes. Like when we were in the UK, I used to I would sneak jokes in there. Like I said, I was like, in the UK, I was like, your guys' health insurance is way more affordable than ours in the US. I was like, so affordable that we just came back from dick enlargement surgery. So then I would be like, just like our dicks, this next song's a knee slapper. And then when we would play our last song of the night, if we were in the UK, I was like, the song goes out to the Queen. The song's called Dead as Shit.
Oh fuck yeah, dude. See the banter in the middle is what it's all about, dude. Like Corpse Grinder's funny. He makes me giggle. Either way, dude, like bands could not say shit in between songs too, and I'll still enjoy their music if their music's the shit, But having the banter in the between songs is definitely a plus, It adds to the energy of the whole night. And having the comedy like appreciation and dude, I tried to write jokes too. Like Kill Tony influenced me to try and write a minute. He came to San Francisco. I didn't make it in time to sign up, but I wanted to do it. I wanted to see if I could do it, and so yeah, that I think that especially as a vocalist too, you probably enjoy writing your own lyrics, right?
Oh, big time.
And I like to write as well, and other ways to write words. You get tired of writing certain ways or whatever, and I enjoy funny stuff. Let's see if I could structure something that would make somebody laugh, and didn't really do it well. But
who are some of your guys' favorite comics?
It's Louis C.K., Shane Gillis, Bill Burr.
Yeah, dude.
Those are my top 3 probably right now. And I think about that like I don't like top lists anymore. I feel like people do top 10s and 5s.
Yeah.
But I always think about like Louis C.K. is my number 1 always, and then it goes. Shane Gillis has taken that spot in the last 2 years. I would say I listen to the Matt and Shane Secret podcast. I like Patreon. Like I'm like, dude, it's so good. They're so funny. I'm like, I'll listen to it. I can't listen to it because I have like a really bad tinnitus and it's like ringing. I'm like deaf in one ear and it's like ringing really bad. So I listen to stuff when I go to bed, and I can't listen to that one. Like, because I'm like, I'll just be like, engaged. I'll start laughing. I'm like, dude, I gotta listen to some like fucked up. I do listen to a lot of crime weird shit. I know it's like supposedly a female dominated genre of, but like, dude, crime shit makes me go to bed easy. I'm just like,
you listen to Skanks at all?
Oh yeah, I love Legion.
Okay, Legion of Skanks.
But I was just gonna piggyback the Matt and Shane real quick. Like when I listen to those dudes, that's the most like hanging with the bros feel I get from a pod.
Yeah, they like finish each other's sentences. They'll say one word and then they'll riff off the word forever. Like the other day, they're talking about the Yeezys. Like they're talking about like Biden and Trump, and they're like, "Oh, these Yeezys, dude. The fucking like we gotta trade these. We gotta trade in these Yeezys for something else." Like, and I was just driving, like trying not to like laugh like so hard that I wouldn't be able to drive well. Because I was like, they literally get me to the point where I'm like, I mean, I love Your Mom's House, and I've listened to Your Mom's House for over 10 years now. Yeah,
that's overproduced. I mean, not overproduced, but it's mass. Not mass. What am I?
Bad friends.
Polished. That's all polished. But Matt and Shane's there's no intro.
That's why I love it.
We even have an intro. They just like we're fucking talking now.
Wild.
That's how it starts.
No, they have an intro.
My like all time, like I can't like put them in like a list or categories, but
yeah.
If we talk about like from the time I got into comedy, like pretty heavy growing up, getting into it, I'd say Dice.
Oh yeah, I love Dice. God damn it, you froze after you said Dice. I'm so excited to see the rest of your list. Look at it. He's all. Oh, there he is. He's back. Okay. There you go. You came back. So Dice, and then what?
Dice, David Tell.
David Tell is up there too for me.
Dude.
Norm Macdonald is like probably, yeah. David Tell.
Louis C.K. obviously. Big J Okerson. I fucking love Big J.
Yeah, I love Big J too.
And then I'd say Shane Gillis is, one of my favorites right now, man. Everything he touches on, everything he says is a fucking riot, and the fact that because he's so based, like he doesn't give a shit, and the only reason he gets away with it is because in the back of your head, like he's speaking facts, like
I know.
And but I mean, dude, everything he says is funny, and then when he laughs at his own bits, it's like, dude, it's like he's right there next to you sitting there.
Yeah, he's your bro. He's like, and it's like it feels a little creepy sometimes. I'm like sitting there laughing my ass off at like him talking with Matt. And I'm just like, I'm like I feel like I'm next to him. Like, yeah, totally do. Oh shit, it's just me.
If you watch the footage of like the earlier ones, they're sitting in a living room, which is exactly where you would be sitting on a couch. Well, you talking that kind of shit.
The canceled thing, that's like they were like super just sitting like, like before when we got SNL and stuff and they got canceled from that. Like, and I made a big deal about the SNL thing. I was like, I got a hotel to watch the SNL thing. And no, not that big, but no, it was my fiance and I've hated soccer my whole life, and she recently got me like obsessed with soccer because she's like a sick soccer player.
She's
like
sick.
She's like a badass soccer player, and she taught me all the cool shit about soccer. And I'm like, my whole life I've been ripping on soccer my whole life, and now I'm like watching every highlight. I'm like psyched on it. Like I'm like super into it and stuff. And so there was a cool soccer game that was going on in Monterey, and I'm like, dude, okay, soccer game's at 6. Get back to the hotel room. 8:30 Saturday Night Live with Shane Gillis, who got fired from fucking SNL doing SNL. I'm like, we have to catch that. And we came back with a pizza. I turned it on. He's all, thank you very much, and started the monologue. It was like perfect timing, and I was like,
you guys got pizza too. It was perfect experience,
dude. So good, and he's getting shredded by like the super like sensitive media. It's going like, no, dude. Oh, because his unfunny intro monologue was just like his fucking the rest of us. Me and Oso were cracking up the whole show. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
It was hilarious, dude. I mean, he did kind of set up a joke about his niece the same kind of way he did in his special for his uncle. But
no, his dad, he started pointing out his old dude. My dad's like he's like a volunteer 9th grade basketball coach, dude. How weird is that? And they zoom in on him and shit. I was crying.
And that's
so relate to him, man. Like when he talks about his family members, like his sister, like relapsing and all kinds of stuff.
And his Down syndrome cousin, or
like, the shit's dark, but like when you're in that environment and it's basically therapeutic to make jokes about it.
Oh, totally.
That's 100%.
That's natural.
What he's doing is talking about that, and it's like you can't throw shade his way because like at the end of the day, like he loves all of those people. So he ain't doing anything.
They're not he's not poking fun at any of those people. No, not at all.
He's touching on subjects that like aren't really like you're not supposed to touch on them, but he's like, dude, I have a Down syndrome like cousin and all these things, and we run a coffee shop with all Down syndrome people. It's like we're not saying that like we're not like going like, oh, Down syndrome joke real quick. He's like, no, these are the bros. These are my bros.
We all say that the best comics are the ones that wear their heart on their sleeve and actually talk about the real experiences of living their personal life, and then so if he's gonna talk about that's part of his life, you guys, that's it.
So Anthony, you haven't given your top 5, dude.
My top 5, dude. I mean, you kind of hit the same one. I think that Mark Norman's good for like the shorter. He's good for
the Rodney Dangerfield kind of punchlines.
Yeah, more setup punch.
Yeah. Which are great.
But yeah, I guess that just like death metal, you could open the veins and get into the subgenres of comedy too.
Absolutely.
And you would get into some shit that most people wouldn't be into. That I mean, we were just talking about Casey Rocket. Casey Rocket really is one of my all-time favorites.
He got the Kill Tony regular thing.
And he's been like, just like kind of we were talking about gatekeeping. Dude, I only told Joel about Casey.
Yeah.
I didn't tell anybody else about Casey because I was just like, this is my little weird guy that
I started
just
following
does
them
really
immediately. Yeah.
weird crab walks and talks about taking Robitussin and fucking, and just this little weird fucking
Dude, that
situation.
one stand up that he did on Kill Tony where he just starts off, he goes like, never started as a wise man, and then like and then he just starts riffing off of it the whole time, and like he keeps going, like he keeps bringing that up. He's all like, dude, Putin's like tracking me, I gotta walk around a bunch, he's fucking tracking me a bunch. And this is all like he's not worried about like the fuck, or that he like later on in the set he goes like, the 5 words that I've been worried about, so never worry about a wise man. He like brings that back up, and the whole crowd's just like,
I mean, he's not
gone.
And I know Joel's trying his best, but there's no way of like translating that, dude. You just gotta watch it.
Unwell person when I first like saw clips and everything of him.
Most people think he's schizophrenic, dude. He talks about it. He's like, it's kind of starting to be a frequent thing. Like, is Casey Rocket a schizophrenic? Is one of the
No, he's just playing a.
No, he's not. He's not. I don't
think it's a bit.
I've listened to him on podcast. He does.
Yeah, podcast. He's chill though. He's chill on podcast. I watched one today.
William Montgomery show. He's the co-host now for like years,
he's like mellow.
A year. He's totally mellow, but he's still funny as shit. He likes to riff. That's what it is. It's riffing.
He just gets in this mode. He puts his head in this mode.
He's improv. He's jazz. That's what he's doing. He's jazz comedian, dude. Damn. He's totally like an in the moment jazz comedian who's riffing.
Did you guys fuck with Come Town at all?
Come Town. So
why does that sound familiar?
Who was on it?
Nick Mullen, Stavros.
Yeah, so that was Stavros's shit, and then that stopped, and then he's doing his own thing now, right? Yeah. Yeah. I never really listened to it though. I've just listened to Stavi on like his shit and other people's.
Come Town? Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm super down. Like,
what else was God damn.
An underground. All right, here's a little tidbit. One that's less popular, or not less popular. It's definitely popular, but something that has gold in it all the time is the Crab Feast with Ryan Sickler and what's his other name? Oh fuck. He had another guy who did it with him.
He laughs like Bert though. I can't handle Ryan Sickler.
I love his laugh is different. No, he doesn't laugh like that, dude. His laugh is something like
fans.
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah. Yeah. I don't like that. Because I feel like, and also too, by the way, me and Pat saw Joey Diaz live, and I felt like he was amazing, but he does the laugh and he's not laughing. He goes like, and then the crowd would laugh when he did the laugh, and I was like,
it's kind of like,
all right, I'm getting out of here. I like literally
monkey do thing.
I was pissed. I was like, just like, because his jokes were good, but I had to piss really bad. I was in the middle, and like, long story, but anyways, I had to like get everyone to stand up in the middle of the show, and then I made friends with the security guard. He brought me up to the front. I got to watch him from the front, but like, I just felt like he was like disingenuous, going like, "Hey, fucking cocksucker!" And when he did the laugh, everyone started laughing, and I was like, "He's not even laughing. He's just making a noise, dude. Like, he's not laughing." Like, I don't know. I don't feel like he believes it.
When Ari was doing, what was it? This Isn't Happening.
Oh yeah.
And like the Joey Diaz bits and the Big J bits were probably like my favorite ones, man.
Totally. Yeah. Dude, Ari's live shit. Are you seeing that soon? You said?
Yeah, I'm seeing it in April.
Dude, he goes so far.
Yeah.
I was like, I loved it. I was like, it was like a date night, but like my fiance is like super down with like, all the same comics I'm into, and like he went to like school shooting for half the time, and the crowd was just all like fuck, and I was sitting there crying, like I was like laughing as hard as I could, because he was just like trying to chap everyone. He was trying to be like, this is a bummer. Like he was trying his best to like. What's that?
He's going for the shock laugh.
Oh yeah, but they were ridiculous. Like the shit he was able, like, damn. I was like blown away. But my favorite stand-up that I've seen live it wasn't because it was the best stand-up. It was because it was that we were at the Improv in San Jose, and they're like, they go, where do you want to sit? And they're like, how about we sit you right in the front? It was me and my fiance. She's like a little shy and with like dealing with like people, and I was like, I'll deal with it if I drink, but like I'm like freaked out. And it was Duncan Trussell. But so opening for him, we didn't know was, I mean, we knew right in the beginning was William Montgomery.
Yeah.
We saw him walking around smoking a cigarette outside, and I'm like, that's fucking William Montgomery. And she's like, oh shit, I'm like freaked out already. And William Montgomery like did this like bit about like selling Xanax out of his hotel room, and he's just and he started screaming and yelling, and he just stared at me. He was like, you, and stared at me for like 2 minutes of silence, and just like looking at me, just like look at these, just still like. And I was like looking, I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like it was, and I remember like after I left the show and stuff, everyone came up to me like, dude, how did that feel? That was like fucking bananas. Like, dude just like fucking screamed at you and stared at you in silence for 2 minutes.
Like a La Quinta? Is that what he says? He was
La Quinta Inn or something. Yeah. And he just like committed to it and just like stared at me, and his eyes like were just like at this like angle. I was staring back at him for as long as I could until I couldn't anymore. And then I looked back, and he was just still staring, like just most intense stare ever. And he just like leaned into it so hard, and I was like, "Fuck, this is better than an autograph, dude. This is like, I'm gonna remember this forever." But yeah, no,
right.
comedy is like starting to equal music. Starting to get close.
I listen to music to get sad sometimes, but I always listen to comedy to get happy, dude. It's true.
Man.
All right. Well, we're past fucking 3 hours, dude. You're ahead of us, dude. But, dude, this was rad, dude. I feel like we could go for.
We should definitely do a part 2, Devin.
Shit,
I love
dude.
this. I love this.
I love hanging with you, dude. And I'd love to eventually come across you in person, Devin. We need to fucking kick it.
Yeah, man. We have I don't know how close we are to you, but we're playing a few California dates.
Sick,
I know we're
dude.
playing Pomona and
SoCal.
LA. I can't remember where else, like off the top of my head.
Any Sacramento area on the weekend?
Sacramento, You're playing in San Francisco, I think. I saw a pop up with like your flyer in San Francisco, maybe.
We played Berkeley a few times, and we played where is it? I think it starts with an R.
Roseville, Rockland.
Roseville. You played Roseville?
Dude, are you? Dude,
that's where I was living.
Fucking 15 minutes where I'm at on the weekend, so we need to make that happen, dude. If it's a weekend.
How'd you like that venue? Because I've never been there, and everyone keeps talking about it.
We had a blast. What was funny too is like it was a digital banner. So
oh, that's right.
So they were like, like Immolation was like, yo, just put our logo up here. Cattle was like, put this artwork up here. I was like, I just want like fire the whole time. And they didn't put fire. Instead they put this like weird Windows background that was like red and like shooting like sparkle like lava, and there was like this drunk girl that was like, what is that? Is that like lava or like inside of a volcano? And I was like, it just immediately hit me, and I was like, no, it's actually my colonoscopy. And I was like, that's what it looks like in here, and I pointed at my
Shit.
But yeah, no, it was a crazy venue. And then we started doing this last year, but now on our live show, like we do a thing called Murder Ball, where we throw a football out into the pit, and whoever holds on to it for like an entire song gets whatever they want at merch.
Oh my god, that's so sick. That's so much better than the fucking Wall of Death. I tell Dan Kenny every time, like, did you do the Wall of Death there? It's sick, dude. I remember the first time.
So you're saying whoever has it at the end of the song, that's the person who gets a piece of merch.
That's an innovative, fun thing,
dude.
Yeah, I like that.
And when we were on tour with Suicide, like they, we were playing like 2,000 capped rooms. Like there'd be like 2,700 people there. We would do it at those kinds of venues, and just see people just dogpile like on top of each other like crazy.
I love that, dude.
Oh, that's so good.
Had a stink about it because it was like either you do it or you don't, you know, and
Yeah.
and then like the people that did it, like they come back like their nose all fucked up or whatever. They're like, dude, that was sick, and I'm like, yeah.
That is
Wow,
fucking
dude.
smart, dude. I like that. I like that.
What the wall of death is still fucking legal. Everybody else is still calling for the wall of death. Now it's like, how many
Every time a
people get
wall of
hurt
death
during
comes up, I
those?
leave. I leave
A
the
dog
like,
pile. Come on now.
I remember. I think actually it was you guys were on the show with Dying Fetus, Suicide Silence, and stuff, right?
That's chaos.
We showed up. We had to work late or something. Me and my fiance. We showed up there, got to the hotel, had a couple drinks, came down. I think you guys had just ended. And God damn it, you guys were no. I think Dan introduced me to one of you guys outside by the bus. They were like, "This is Joel from blah blah," and I was like, "Fuck yeah, good shit." No, I try to get you on the podcast, blah blah. But I remember every time I ever see Dan live, I'm just like, "Did you do the fucking wall of death? That's so dumb, dude." It's like, sick, dude. Are you just copying a bunch of other bands and you can't come up with anything cool, or is like,
Who was
it's
it?
like,
Was it Lamb of God who did it first?
that's the first big one I saw on video, but I think it's been before them.
I don't know, dude. I think it might be.
I don't know why my old man in me like hates the wall of death. Like, I think it's whenever someone goes like, "All right, you go to this side, you go to this side," I'm just like, I'm out. So dumb. I'm like, why don't you get people into it because of your music? You have to like create walls and then have them like go like, "Oh, we're fighting each other now, not listening to the music, but like we're crazy for the guys up there, so we look crazy for them." And I'm like, I
hope
give
nobody's actually trying to like put people in the hospital during that.
Yeah, I know.
See, I like the crowd interaction, man. Like when we play shows that don't have a barrier, like I yell at people to get on our stage, like our stage. Stage. And that's what was really fun about like the Cattle tour, especially. Like there's a lot of rooms with no barricades, and we were like, "Yo, it's about to be sick," and encourage people to stage dive.
I love that shit.
Is Jason Kaiser was doing merch for Immolation on that tour, and I asked him, like, I was like, "Yo, dude, you should do a song with us like every night," and he was down. Well, we just got briefs. Like, we played this place called the Crocodile in Washington, and it was the only one that briefed us. Like, they said, "No, don't encourage stage diving. If they do it on their own, that's on them. Don't encourage." So I did this whole bit, like, before we came on stage. I was like, "Hey, so I was like, the venue briefed me to tell you guys not to stage dive." I was like, "But if you ask me, I'm not your fucking dad." I was like, whatever goes on for the next 30 minutes, I'm not responsible for what you want to do. And then Jason gets the mic.
Oh no, I know Jason's bananas.
He's like, "Yo," he's like, "Our stage is your stage, motherfucker!" Like, and he's bringing people up, and there was like venue security, like, "No." And I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be sick." It's just people jumping off like crazy. I was like, "Hell yeah!" So
on Summer
nature,
Slaughter,
dude. Tell them they can't do it. They're gonna want to do it 10 times more, dude.
No, I could. Not, I'm not trying to one up, but like Bill Decrepit, we were on tour with on one of the Summer Slaughters. I forget. Cephalic was on it. How much Origin?
He's
I think
the Kingdom
was on
of
too.
God, dude.
But we had an album that had not been released yet. We had a CD that had not been released yet, and it was 2010 or something. And like CDs were still like people cared, and so we're like, and Bill was like, "I got 3 CDs up here, dude. Whoever can make it past security gets CDs." And it would just be like, and we'd be like a sold out show in Montreal or whatever, and people would just be like flipping, like getting around, like security be like tackling them and stuff, like fighting them, and they'd be like trying to fight to get past to the CD, and then like there's people that would just like do a flip and get around and like juke the security and like jump over. We'd be like, fuck yeah, and the whole crowd would go, yeah. Everyone
Imagine
like
being
would cheer them on.
security. Imagine being security, and he's just like kind of coasting in his head, like, "All right, it's a decent night. I don't like the music, you know, it's pretty loud. It's kind of hurting my ears and shit. But everybody's being chill, you know."
No, Bill made a big
And then the
point after
vocalist
that.
on the stage goes,
Goes like,
"Hey, if
go
you
out
can get
security."
past security right now, you can get some merch." And then you start to see kids coming at you
It
specifically.
was bananas. On
Eyes
stage
at
sometimes.
you, and you're just like, "Fuck, dude! Now I gotta fucking work. God
Yeah,
damn
yeah.
it!"
They would also we would also say this thing like, they hired security for a reason, and security would look back at us, be like, dude, come on.
Come on.
I used to do this. I do this thing where I put my finger over the water bottle, squeeze it out in the crowd, and
Yeah,
get just get them all.
get everybody hyped,
Yeah. That's my shit, man. I love
wake
it.
them up a little bit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's security guys who are like, oh, "Come on, man!" But at the same time, they want to fucking wrestle somebody to the ground real
Oh,
quick.
yeah,
Dude.
yeah. In Denver, when we played, and we were doing all of our bits and the football thing, security looked back at us and we're like, "Yo, this is sick." And then the football thing became so it kind of blew up. Like, people were like, "Oh yeah, we know about this. We know what's going on tonight." So that's why we brought people.
That's a cool idea, though. I like that a lot.
You ever toss one in the crowd and it hits some dude in the face right off that?
Dude, in Lyon, France, I don't. This dude had his hands up. I was trying to toss a water bottle to him to catch it, and because they were just left on stage, and this guy had his hands up, so I went and tossed it by the cap, just flung it. It hits this dude, just boom, right in his face. And I'm like, oh shit. So I just walk to the curtain and I'm laughing because I can't help it. So what's this dude do? He sees me walking and he twists a water bottle, the cap off, throws it. I see it and duck. And at the moment I duck, it hits our guitar player right in his face.
Oh fuck.
And then I'm like, oh shit. And I just walk back to the curtain again. Instead, Cedric just goes, "Who the fuck threw that?" Starts yelling at the crowd. And the guy comes over. He was like, "It was me. I was trying to hit your singer." And he was like, "Do I look like the fucking singer?" Blah blah blah. And I was like, dude, so when we played when we were playing songs, I just thought of this bit, and I was like, this goes out to whoever threw that water bottle. I was like, yo, I'm sorry I hit you. And I was like, that's a total mistake. But you need better aim because you hit our guitar player. And then Steg got on the mic and was like, yeah, and you're about to fuck around and find out, you fucker. And I was like, yeah, he's mad. So this song's called Pissed. And then we played.
Everybody's just pissed, dude.
Yeah. But
that's what's up, dude. That's the whole experience, dude. You guys are having your personal experience those nights, and so is the audience, dude. That dude walked away with the story. You have the story that you just told us right now.
Stories are huge for fans. Having a story that you did something or whatever, something happened or something. Not like a John Lennon story. But a story.
One of those stories. Dude.
I know, but
I can't tell it.
Yeah, you interact with the band and it's funny. I feel like that's why I love fucking Cephalic and stuff so much, because I'm like, they make me crack the fuck up every time I see them, but they also blow my fucking mind every time. So I'm like, I love the mixture of funny and impressive. Maybe it's become a thing because I'm like, all right, dude, you can't hear technical death metal live anymore.
You just made it.
So
you just
I
made a good point, dude, and you made me think what if getting people into a vulnerable state by getting them to laugh and then going into something extreme as something like Cephalic Carnage and have the humor in there, but it's almost like it's getting you ready, or I mean, the element of surprise is a thing, you know. It's what jolts the system. It might, shock you.
Right.
And if you get into a giggly space and then get hit with a blast beat, that it might really make you pay attention a lot better, and then you fall into this trance that's happening during a Cephalic Carnage set, which will definitely happen if you watch a Cephalic Carnage set.
Yeah, I look at bands like Cephalic, Skinless, and like older Levidity when they had like Matt Bishop on vocals.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those guys would just like crack jokes like left and right, and then hit you with like music that makes you want to fuck everything up in front of you. And it's, that's kind of been like our approach, like when it comes to like social media and doing like funny shit like online.
Yeah,
it's like taking the piss. Like, yeah, we know this music. All in all, it's like, it's not like a gimmick, but it is funny. You know, like sometimes like because it's
most
brutal.
definitely.
It's so unbearably heavy. But then like, so you can have aspects of like poking fun or taking a piss, and then just hit them over the head with like that barbaric like brutality.
Right.
Totally. That's
Party Cannon's a good example of that too. But yeah, we've talked about these rabbit holes, and we've spelunked into the caverns as far as we could go personally, you know.
For sure.
And we've gone far enough to where we can come back out and poke fun at every single aspect of that cavern that we followed, you know. And since we experienced it, it's okay for us to make fun of it and still love it, because it's just a fucking experience, dude. It's just a human experience that we're having right now, and we're in this bubble.
So heavy that you have to laugh at it.
No, totally. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And it's great. That's a great feeling, dude.
Violation of the Wicked. I was like, dude, this is
you start laughing.
That I'm laughing that I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
That album rules, dude.
That feeling of looking at your buddy and being like, and then you both start like just laughing, like, dude, what the fuck? That's the greatest feeling. And those little micro moments that we're having with these are why we're still doing 169 episodes of this show, just talking shit about the same fucking shit. How many of you guys? Sorry, go ahead.
I said I want to be back on.
Dude, this is great. Oh yeah, dude. We're having a blast, dude, and I want to do this forever. If sleep wasn't a thing, we'd still go forever. I gotta fucking work on cars in 7 hours, basically.
For sure. Yeah, I have a wedding venue I need to visit. Oh yeah, you were talking about, I want to bring this up too. You were talking about your fiance being an athlete. My girl does roller derby.
Oh, sick, damn. Yeah. That's a brutal. I've had friends that have done that too before. Yeah.
You gotta if you have a league in town, you gotta catch a game. They're fucking sick.
Oh no, I've gone for sure. For sure. It's brutal. I still don't even understand the rules of it. I know there's like, it's kind of like a kill the carrier kind of thing, but
basically, you have a jammer who has like the star and the like wristband, and if they go completely around like once, like that's a point. So and jam session for an allotment of time, like usually it's like 3 to 5 minutes. But yeah, like she kicks ass, man. She gets awards like every year.
That's rad. Yeah, that's a death metal fucking sport, dude.
It is, dude.
Oh yeah, she's a huge metalhead. So
hell yeah,
that's rad, dude. See, that's like a whole. I had a few times during this night where I wanted to ask about your fiance a little bit more in your history, but it's 3 hours, 33 minutes.
We'll save that.
Oh shit, dude! It's half a 666. We got to cut it off real quick. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, let's save it for part 2, dude. What?
I was going to show you. I forgot what I was going to show you. We were talking about something, and I was like looking for something on the side, and I'm like the ADHD Jamie from Joe Rogan. I was like, oh, dude, what's up? Oh, let's board over here.
I'm not trying to cut it off because I'm not having fun. This is like I just said, dude. I could do this forever. You're a great new friend,
you're
Devin.
awesome,
Thanks, man.
I really appreciate giving all this time to the show, and I want to stay in touch, dude.
Absolutely.
You're a fresh homie that I want to keep, dude. So
Okay.
yeah, dude, no doubt.
And you two are so much, we'll probably get multiple chances to hang out.
Get DK, dude. Yeah, dude. We'll get DK as a let's get him coming back on, and we'll just fucking
As a
nerd out
sober
on death
DK,
metal.
we'll do a sober DK. There's been times when like we've had DK, like we had like Paul Ryan on with Origin and stuff, and like it was me and Anthony and stuff, and DK just like he calls me or he like messages me, he's like, dude, let me come on right now, I'm gonna come on, and he comes on, he's still like, it's like fucking noon on a Sunday, and he's all, let's go fucking pussies.
I love him to death, dude.
He says
He's
way
my
worse
brother,
than that, but
no,
I love the dude. Actually, for
he's a
me,
kind soul.
I drink a lot of alcohol, maybe
We
more
all
than I would
kinda
like
do.
to. But I've made a proclamation: if Dan Kenny quits drinking, I'll quit drinking.
Oh yeah.
So you're just waiting.
When pigs
So it's
fly.
it's up to the guy that's never gonna quit. So-
No, he's pretty tame the last few times. All right, let's not air out his bullshit. I love
No,
him. And I
Dan's
love...
a fucking idiot, dude. He likes the Cowboys. Fucking idiot.
Hey, dude, you
kidding.
fucking followed Montana to the Chiefs and just stayed there. You're just lucky.
Oh yeah, it's
right
worked
now.
out the last 4 years.
You're just lucky right now. I don't even watch football, but I just made a valid statement.
Oh, it's a Warriors one.
All
I have a Chiefs hat on.
right,
Anyway.
dude.
All right.
This is so fun, dude. Devin.
Yeah, you're awesome, Devin.
You're going out to fucking Australia in like how many days?
Oh shit. I fly out Sunday.
You're living the dream, brother. And just squeeze it for every ounce you can get it out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, man.
And keep
Gotta ride it.
adding to it so you got more juice to squeeze.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
Anthony wants to drink your juice, dog.
I want to drink your juice, Devin, so hard, dude. We'll drink some juice together in person, dude.
Down.
Rock
Oh, yeah,
on.
brother.
All right.
Good shit,
Well,
brother.
everybody else, have a great time. You know the fucking plugs. Everybody who's watching. Love you guys. We'll see you next week. Peace.